Jasmeet, welcome to the Brain Show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. We are in the Chemi Student Center at the University of Florida. Pretty cool. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Jasmeet Bhatt, and I am currently a master's student here at the University of Florida. I've also did my undergrad degree here, so it's been 5 years I've been at this school?
You've been here for 5 years?
Yeah, it's feeling like a long time.
Dude, boots on the ground. What was the undergrad experience like?
Honestly, the undergrad experience, I would say it's a pretty good experience, but I feel like I'm trying to get more involved within the department, within the school, at least within my last 2 years compared to my first 2 or 3 years at this school.
And how are you going about doing that?
Well, so there's a lot of different things that I could do on campus. So I've been doing peer advising for the department, mentoring younger students. I've also been doing the amalgamation of all of my TA experiences, and the running joke with that is kind of funny. It's basically like all the students that I've had, they can never get rid of me for some reason because I always show up as the TA for their classes. And I think this semester is 3 classes that I'm TAing for?
What do you mean?
So basically, this is sort of not the TA, I'm basically co-teaching process design. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically the overall capstone course. They basically we teach you chemical engineering and okay, now go design a plant. Model it and simulate it. I'm also the TA for MEB, which is, so process design is the last course they take. MEB is the first course you take in chemical engineering. And then I'm also a peer tutor for the unit operations labs. So basically helping out with different laboratory experiences, making sure that students don't hurt themselves and they're following proper lab procedures and doing the experiments properly.
So what made you want to get involved in all of these classes and the lab?
I feel like I want to get more involved in the department because I felt like a lot of this, mostly because I had a lot of free time as well, and I felt like I was not contributing enough. And plus, so this is interesting. So in my sophomore year, I decided I was taking this computer model formulation class, and I really liked the material, and I was interested in the professor's research material, he was doing solar cell research. So I decided to join his lab, and I found really exciting, working in a laboratory environment, finding results, modifying results, trying to find trends in data, as well as learning laboratory practices. Whereas at the same time, I also liked teaching other people how to do things as well. So I asked him are there any opportunities for me to TA for that class? And realistically, there were not really a lot of opportunities for undergrad students. However, he did carve up this role that I could do next semester when he taught the class. I think it was called supervised undergraduate teaching. So basically, grad students have their supervised teaching, which is basically your traditional TA roles. So he created this undergrad TA role so I could do it, and that I really enjoyed that role, helping out students, trying to help students learn the material that they didn't understand in class. And from that, I've just started doing that on a regular basis every semester.
Yeah. There's something really rewarding about being able to teach students, especially in a department that you are currently part of. I was able to teach chemistry for 3 years at Florida Tech, and it was awesome. It was some of my, I had some great memories doing it, and I got a lot of fulfillment out of being able to teach these people and being able to explain this knowledge in a way that is more easily comprehensive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then also it helps you learn the material better yourself, because I felt it's one thing learning chemi material in my classes, is another thing of okay, are you really going to remember this stuff a year or two down the line? So with doing all of these TA jobs, I felt like I can constantly reinforce my knowledge of chemical engineering concepts. And it's not just computer model formulation. I have TA'd for phase equilibrium, currently TAing for MEB. TAing for the labs basically covers a whole array of different material, ranging from heat transfers to conduction to separations and all sorts of different things.
And meanwhile, you're doing all this while you're also earning a master's in chemical engineering. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you find most enjoyable out of being in this position where you're able to teach students?
Honestly, I enjoyed the part where I get to help out students and like interact with them, learn what they're going through, and try to be a resource that I could provide to help them get through the curriculum. Because most people know that chemical engineering is like the hardest engineering discipline that there is. But it's not really that way because there's it's like an impossible material to learn, or it's like super overwhelming. It's not because of that really. It's like a lot of stuff that people are generally if they might feel overwhelming at first, but if you put in the effort, put in the work, it can be pretty rewarding. And also I think there's a big emphasis, there's a big physics emphasis, big chemistry emphasis, a lot of math as well, which is something that may put off a lot of people.
Yeah. From my experience, people seem to think of it as intimidating or just overwhelming, and it can be a lot, of course. At the end of the day, though, it's just a long series of solving problems. It's several, approaching infinite, small steps, in series in order to accomplish all these problems.
Yeah, and then what you also notice is that a lot of these problems, there's a lot of structure to a lot of these problems that the way you're solving it. All of it goes, for example, goes down to a mass balance, energy balance. You're trying to balance out different systems. Then you can use that, and then you can build upon the different skills. You can have separations, and you can model separation processes. Reactors, you bring in reactors from chemistry. So with reactors and kinetics from chemistry, my bad. So it's a lot of the stuff, it basically combines a lot of different disciplines together, which is why a lot of students realize mechanical engineering, materials, they do a lot of similar stuff to us as well. But what we do is we take a lot of this stuff, put it together, and I think that's what you sort of see in a lot of industries. A lot of people are looking for chemical engineers because we may not be specialists in one particular thing, but we have the knowledge and framework to do a whole range of different fields, like semiconductors, for example, agriculture. You have your traditional oil and gas industries, you name it. It's a growing field of industries. You'll find a need for a chemical engineer somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that point, from my experience, it seems as though chemical engineering is one of the most versatile fields because it's easier for a chemical engineer to go into, say, mechanical engineering than it is for, say, a mechanical engineer to go into chemical. And I think that's because we cover a lot of the similar concepts in addition to mass balance.
Yeah.
Right? So we just have just a massive range of topics that we are somewhat familiar with. And just the volume of the amount of problems that we have to solve and the different challenges that we have to overcome to earn these degrees, it just seems to really set us up to be able to tackle any challenge. I mean, even right now, I feel very confident that I can tackle whatever challenge is put in front of me because I'm I got through, like you said, reactor design or mass and energy balance and plant design. It's process design here.
Yeah.
And even the master's studies. And now I feel confident being I think I can accomplish fill in the blank because I've accumulated so much experience by solving problems. And what's interesting is, on your note, or on a note on what you said rather, is that I actually was able to get a job in sales. So I'm going to be a salesman for cationics, selling chemical formulations for wastewater treatment plants, and that's really cool. And I think that's going to be a very interesting application of the chemical engineering degree. And just like you said, it's just it's not what you would generally think of as an engineering job, but I think I can use a lot of the same skills that I learned in the engineering degree in this position.
Yeah, for example, when I was at my last internship at Samsung, I was working in environmental health and safety. So a lot of different times you might consider okay, what is the chemical engineering aspects of EHS? Well, there's a lot of different things. So analyzing SDSs, process safety, for example, of a plant or a system, that is very much something that chemical engineers have experience with, and there's something that they should have some familiarity with as well. So you can apply them to different roles. And I think it's mostly due to the engineering mindset. So engineers are supposed to be critical thinkers, problem solvers. The solutions for a lot of different things are not out there. You have to go and figure out what could be a possible solution. And 9 times out of 10, you might be wrong, but it's what you learn from it that you rectify your hypothesis and then you try again. And I think that's true with a lot of other engineering disciplines as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like break it, build it, reiterate, try again. And a lot of the time what I've come to realize, both in my studies of engineering and psychology, is that formulating the question is really the hard part, right? It's like sometimes like 50, 60, 70% of the problem is just formulating the right question. And sometimes if you formulate the question properly, the answer almost becomes obvious. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I would say like it's how you ask the question. And like the thing is, you can look at a chemical engineering problem. One person can interpret it one way and then can get a different answer, and another person can interpret it somewhere differently. And we don't know, like they both could be correct ways of interpreting a problem. They both may not work, but the point is, one way is not inherently better than the other without like doing testing and like trying to analyze it. It's a very like I would say like it's sort of like an open field. Like you have to like there's a lot of wiggle room to like think outside the box, and I think this is very applicable if you're like interested in doing research as well. A lot of thinking there. You're not going to find a paper that has all the things that you need, because then what's the point of doing research, like if everything's already known? So the job for you is like you're gonna have to go and like take what's out there, analyze the data, do your own testing, and then who knows, maybe your test results and like the data is not, whatever's being published is not correct, or it might support it, or you may find a new phenomenon that they didn't know about. That's all part of the learning process.
Yeah, and that's how new science is discovered, and that's how we advance knowledge and technology, and it's cool. You're literally, when doing research, you're literally the tip of the spear in this area of knowledge, and then you get to be on the forefront of finding out, the answers to these questions that we have, and who knows, maybe there's a really important application to those.
Yeah.
And that's a cool route that a lot of PhD students take. I mean, because when you get to the master's program, it's like you really only have two directions afterwards. It's like you're getting a PhD or you're getting a job, right? It's kind of one or the other. And what's cool about PhD students is that they've literally voluntarily chosen to, advance our understanding of science as a profession, and to become the professional in one very specific area of science. And I think that's a very noble and faithful endeavor, and I think it's very interesting. Yeah,
especially like since like you're not going to get a PhD to make a lot of money. It's not very monetarily, financially a good decision to do that. But you have to look at, those are the short term. If you think about a short term, then it's not financially favorable. But if you think long terms, like you can have some success in it, especially, but then it's all due to like how well you do your research and like what impact you can have. It's all about the impact that you can do. Whereas for your undergrad and for your master's, it's about what courses that you can take. You basically study what's already known. With the PhD, they basically just let you loose and like you just discover what the unknown, as what we call it.
Interesting. And are you leaning towards getting a PhD?
I'm honestly thinking about it. I've been applying to some PhD programs as well. Based on like my success with that, I mean, we all know what's going on with the funding for PhD programs here. I was able to get admissions into Purdue and into Rice, so I'm still debating like which one I want to take.
Yeah, well, that's huge. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Jasmeet, I'll be the first to state, you are an academic weapon. Okay, you are absolutely holding down the line. Like, not only are you succeeding very well in all of your classes, you're also uplifting the students in the undergraduate program alongside that. So I just want to give you credit there. I see you working hard out here, and I recognize it, and I really respect it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it doesn't hurt to like help out people that may be struggling and stuff. Like it doesn't have to be a constant rat race. Like we don't have to like be super competitive with a lot of different things. Like if someone wants to like do, like for example, be a chemical engineer, we should not have them like compete and like make this a stressful environment that it already is. So I feel like having more people like helping people understand like these core classes, like have it, like don't like make it easy. Like it's supposed to be difficult. You're supposed to challenge them, but like try to like help them understand, because it's all about like the way. Like if someone doesn't understand something, 9 times out of 10, it's either they didn't practice it or the first time that they were taught, it was not clear to them. So like my method is like have some practice, but don't just give them practice. Explain the material again in a more familiar way. And I think as engineers, we usually get lost in like complex jargon because like we may be up here with the material, but like in reality, it's hard to like translate all this knowledge up here down to someone who has like barely any experience in it. So I feel like bridging that gap is an important part. And once you bridge that gap and then have students like understand not just how something is done, but why it's done, then they can start formulating their own hypotheses and like try to like, okay, what if I change this? How would this affect that? And then their reasoning is going to have some scientific and logical proof to it because they understand the foundations.
Absolutely. And you're really speaking my language with that. I mean, you know, like for example, I started a club, and that's all about bridging the gap between the ambitious and the successful, helping these people rise and you know, encouraging them to invite successful people to share their secrets and their success stories and just their advice, and try to get them to uplift the next generation and share their knowledge. And in fact, I'm going to be returning to Florida Tech on Wednesday to give a presentation about career coaching and my experiences after college or after graduating from FIT. And I hope, you know, I get those results and that I can really help them rise and succeed accordingly. And in fact, that'll be posted too if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
But and also with teaching, I mean, like I said, I taught over 600 students over the course of 3 years.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, like it was wild. Like I would be up on stage, like, you know, like we had to book the stage because it was the only place that could accommodate over 100 people.
Yeah.
You know, so it was cool to be able to be up there and help people, like, and to teach this material. And on average, the people who actually attended my lectures got about 10% higher than those who didn't, you know? So, and that was on average. So some people went from like failing to having a C, some people went from having a C to an A. And it was a great experience. But like you said, it's like, it doesn't have to be a competition, it can be a collaboration, you know? Because when you get out into the real world, it's like, you know, your team is very important, and being able to be a team player, you know, succeed alongside other people and to lift other people up, it's like that can be the difference, the deciding factor of your success, right? Because none of us are on an island, none of us are doing this alone.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You know, a lot of people, they may have gone through similar experiences that you're going through, you know, and if you just ask for help or, you know, go out there and try to see what they have to say, it's like they might help you out in ways that you weren't expecting. And, you know, I think that's worth pursuing. And yeah, I just think that's really important to do, both as an educator and as a student.
Yeah, and like Florida Tech, that is a really good school. They have a really strong engineering program. It's also close to where I live as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm also from Melbourne, so
oh, cool.
It's about like 15 minutes away from my house.
No way.
Yeah.
Small world, dude.
Yeah, like the interesting thing is like when I was in my middle school, one of our field trips was to go see. We actually went on a tour of FIT, and then that was like, it was a pretty good experience.
Yeah.
I will say, you guys do have a better dining hall than us.
Oh yeah. I forgot the name of it, but yeah, it was pretty good. Did you see the turtle pond?
Yeah, I believe I did. Yeah,
That's what sealed the deal for me. Like the turtle pond, I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's wild. We probably crossed paths then at some
Maybe.
point, because I was there for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Melbourne, like. Were you like born and raised in Melbourne?
Actually, this is a fun story. So I was actually born in Virginia, Newport News, Virginia, southern part of Virginia, near Norfolk. A lot of military area, very defense focused. Yeah. Funny thing is, Melbourne has NASA. Newport News, that region also has NASA. It's just the research wing of NASA in Langley.
Interesting.
And then when I was 1, I moved to Iowa. So a whole different scene. Like you go from like a pretty populated area to like cornfields. But it's honestly a nice environment. It's a good place to raise a family. Very like nice people care for each other. It's very insulated from a lot of different things that you see in like on the east or west coasts. So like it's a place where like you can have kids, like they can just be kids. Like you can like limit all of the negative things that we see in society there. And then when I was like in middle school, we moved back to Virginia for a little bit, and then about a year later we moved to Florida, and then I've been living here ever since. It's fun. This year is going to be about 10 years since I've been in Florida.
Wow, interesting. So you went to high school here then?
Yeah, I went to high school here, Viera High.
Cool. Over in Melbourne High School?
Viera High, in Viera.
Viera High.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a nice area too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They got, in fact, I think one of the years it was like one of the top like pre-developed or pre-planned cities in the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it is very well and nicely planned. Like, they've been expanding it a lot. Like, the 5 years that I've been at Gainesville at UF, like, every time I go back home, I'm like, oh, this neighborhood wasn't here when I last visited. Like, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's wild. Dude, I used to work at that Sherwin-Williams that's on that main road, and I would just see the builders coming in all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, they're making a lot of money there. And I know they just built a middle school right next to our high school, because before that middle school, a lot of the kids, they had to get bused to the school on the beach side in Satellite Beach.
Really?
Yeah. It's either that or you can go in. Actually, I went to the charter school across from Viera High. But like before that was there, a lot of students, they would have to go onto the beach side. So that was like a 15-minute commute.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's quite a ways. Yeah, it's nice to have the beach so close.
Yeah, it's like a nice maybe like 5 miles away. Like it's a nice experience. It's like what you normally think of Florida is like beaches and like nice weather.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I enjoyed it there. My dad lives down there, and my grandma. I'm gonna go visit her.
Yeah.
See how she's doing. Yeah, but yeah, I like going down there every now and then.
Yeah, but I will say, like, when I do my office hours and recitation sessions, which are basically my way of redoing the lectures a lot of times that I see, I basically like try to like, before giving problems, like I've been in like office hours and recitation sessions with like other people, and not going to say anything negative, but I feel like if you just like throw a bunch of problems to somebody and like, okay, let's just do it, it might help out the students. Like there's like two groups of students that show up. There's like one group of students that like know all the material and they're just there for the extra practice, so they're going to do well in the practice problems. Then you get the other group of students who are struggling. So if you give them the practice problems, they don't really understand the material. So if they're doing a bunch of problems, like it's not going to be right. You're just reinforcing stuff that is wrong. So I feel like it's better to just do the lecturing material, explain the material again, and then do some targeted practice problems. I felt like that gets better results for me. And I did notice a lot of the students that went to my recitation sessions, they generally do better in the class.
Really? Well, yeah, for what you're saying, it's like if you explain it to them in the right way, then they'll pick it up.
Yeah.
You know? And so let me ask you this. What do you think is the biggest point of improvement that can be made in the current method of teaching at the college level?
Ooh. Honestly, we don't have to go to the college level. We can start all the way down. Because
man.
I feel like, okay, the main thing that one of my gripes that I have with a lot of this, it's one thing learning all the high-end concepts and stuff. It's what we do with our fundamentals. So for example, let's look at Gen Chem. In a lot of big schools, it's basically just, they call it like a weed out class. They're basically like, but the way that they teach it is not necessarily the best way of teaching it. So you just go to lecture, you're looking at a bunch of PowerPoints, and you're basically just expected to like just memorize stuff. Memorization never works. It's like, this is a very common thing used in like med schools. Like you just memorize a bunch of different facts. You know it for the test and then you forget it. Do you really want to have a doctor that is like having to constantly remember like something he just memorized, and then if you like try to change a little bit of that, he's not going to understand it. You don't want that. You want someone to understand what they're doing, not just because they memorized it. To be fair, there's some things that you probably should memorize, like you should probably memorize like your basic like multiplication tables and stuff. But like stuff that like has like a lot of impacts and stuff, like you don't want to just like memorize big things like that. So I feel like, and besides that, I also think our math is lagging because we're so slowly seeing a decline in people's ability to do math, and not just complex math, like basic, like what is 7 times 6?
42.
Yeah, exactly. There are people who can't do that. Long division, taking like a percentage of a number, like if you're leaving a tip, you can like, you want to like, you try to find what 20% of like $8.46 is. It's not going to be the most accurate thing in the world, but you can get a rough idea. You don't need to like pull out your phone or a calculator and just like punch it in there.
Yeah, $1.30. Like,
yeah,
give or take. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you, and I feel like they don't explain the purpose much.
Exactly.
Like they focus so much on the technicalities that they don't really explain the why. It's like, why are we learning this? Why is this important? It's like, what do we need to do with this material?
Yeah, exactly. Like it almost feels like we're learning this in a blank void. Like you learn this just to take a test. I also have a feeling this has something to do with like what we see in public schools as well, especially with the implementation of Common Core. Like basically that just turns schooling into like you're basically just doing something for a test. Like we all remember the FSAs, right?
Those was that like the MCAT kind of?
It's the FSA.
It's like a standardized test.
Those are the standardized tests that you have to take every year.
Yeah.
Now they made it even worse. Now it's like every like quarter years.
Oh.
Year. So it's like they think that that's going to improve it, but in reality, you're just like over testing students.
Yeah.
I don't know what results you're going to get. Then you got like the EOCs as well, like to test like the bigger classes. So it's like just you're basically at that point you leave instructors with little freedom to teach what they think is relevant, and you're basically like forcing them to like teach from like a certain book. And I guess there can be some benefits to it, like you're standardizing education, like so everyone like gets like the same material, but it removes the freedom of like actually teaching.
Well, how would you change it if you could?
Well, first of all, I'm not saying that we need to get rid of some sort of standards. Like for example, in engineering, we have AVET standards. We probably want all the engineers to know the same material. I was just not gonna. I want to just like micromanage it in a way and like overburden students with just constant testing. Because what we're seeing is that the test scores are showing like there are a lot of schools out there that like have like less than like 10% of students that know how to read and do math. Like
wild.
Like that is like in a country where like we spend so much money on education, we can't even achieve that. Like what the hell are we doing? So I feel like it has to go with the way we're teaching stuff. And I saw a lot of this a little bit firsthand. I think it was in middle school. Like we had to like do some like mentoring with some of the younger students because my charter school was connected to the elementary school. So we were like helping, I think it was helping a third grade class do their learn math. And then what I noticed, the way they're teaching how to do like multiplication and addition is with like, I don't know what they call it. It's like some number line thing that you like put your numbers on, like do that like. And even the kid that I was like helping tutor is like this guy was smart. Like he knew like it's just like 7 times 3 is just 21. Or it was like you can add these things like in his head. I was just asking him like just forget the number line, like just add in your head. But like students that like don't already have that like knowledge, like especially like if your parents helped you out with this stuff, if you don't have that knowledge, you're gonna be learning this crappy method. And then this is not going to help you think. So it's like, I feel like we're like, I don't know what we're doing with our education system. We're like basically like rewriting the curriculum in a way that gets rid of a lot of critical thinking, a lot of like basic arithmetic, basic reading and stuff. And we're like finding these like newfangled ways that actually don't work.
It's like they're focusing so much on quantity that they don't really get the quality. And it's like,
yeah, exactly. Like people like 20, 30 years ago, like they're pretty good at like doing math and like reading and stuff, and we were doing it the old-fashioned way, just like memorize multiplication tables, rigorously like practice and drill in math problems. Like we don't see that anymore.
Jasmeet, I got a question for you, and it requires some backstory. Like when I was growing up, I felt like I was a lot further advanced than the other students that I was around, and I felt like I was like very capable. I was a lot more capable than what they were expecting of me. Like I felt like I was in like I feel like I was in a Ferrari, but I was forced to drive on like a dirt road.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
it was infuriating. And I was just wondering. It's like, do you think it would be more helpful to kind of tailor teaching to more of like a case by case basis and be like, oh, this student's a lot further ahead, or he's a lot more capable. Maybe we should give him harder problems, and maybe it'll deviate from the curriculum, but I feel like it'll help that student a lot more. And vice versa, maybe if a student's struggling, it's like maybe we should give them more help, or like give them, another avenue to learn it, or maybe make a specialized class for, people that are, that only learn a certain way, like how would you improve it to kind of tailor to the outliers?
Yeah, honestly, like I agree with you. Like when I was like in school, like like for example, my mom started making me do multiplication tables when I was like able to walk and like talk and write. It was like when I was like around 3, and I was like, and I felt like really strong in a lot of different things. So, and I feel like I think we do need to have the distinctions and like help students that are gifted. We should not ignore them. Like I know we have a lot of support, like depending on what school you go to. Some schools have a lot of support to people that are struggling in courses, which I think we should have, because we need them to, like, we can't just leave them behind as well. Because even if you're not gonna like do like complex like degrees and stuff like engineering, you still need to like do something to get a job. And it should not be like we should just funnel everyone into like college if they're not capable. Like there's a lot of like technical jobs, vocational education as well. Like a lot of people are good at working with their hands, for example. Like you have to find skills. Like not everyone is terrible. It doesn't mean that someone is not good at doing like math or like brainy things. Like doesn't mean they're not good at doing everything else.
Yeah, everyone's capable of being good at something.
Yeah, but our tests don't measure that. We just measure math and reading, maybe sciences, but it's all stuff that involves the brain. Do any of those tests really measure like critical thinking or like working with your hands, solving problems? Not really. How are you going to test that? And it's way too lazy to even find a way to test that. But I feel like we should also not ignore any of the high achievers either, because if you don't like help out the high achievers, then they're going to lose motivation. So I feel like targeting classes, like at least in Florida, I didn't see this in like when I lived in Iowa, but like they try to like, if you're advanced, they have the honors courses, they push you to take like AP courses as well. Like for me, I graduated a year early from high school because I got all my curriculum done, and like I don't want to spend more time at high school doing stuff that is not going to be relevant to what I want to do. I feel like I'm ready to progress on into college. And they let me. They were actually supportive. Whereas in Iowa, if I was there for high school, I would have been stuck with everyone else in the same curriculum pathway in high school with barely any way to progress in the system.
And yeah, I mean, on your point, those opportunities should be available to students if they want them. You know?
And it should be easily available. You should not be you shouldn't have to like fight every single school administrator just to have a chance to progress. Because a lot of times it's not easy. They're not going to let you do it. Why? It's because of this. If they keep you in school longer, they make more money. It's based on how many students they can have. They don't want you leaving. They don't want you graduating early. They don't want you like progressing. It costs more for them to like have to dedicate special classes for like more for your mental acuity and like for more advanced classes. If they keep everyone at the same level, it's cheaper for them.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, though, it's like it's about helping these students educate and helping them progress and proceed, and you know that should be the focus, not the money, not like the politics, not like the industrialization. It should be about helping these students and helping them get them further along and helping them develop the skills to be able to learn on their own, right?
Yeah, schooling is there to help the students, not to help anyone else. That's the whole reason why we have schools.
Exactly, and that's the way it should be, you know? And
it makes sense. It's like when you talk about it, it just seems like common sense. But there's a lot of lobbyist interests, there's a lot of corporate political interests out there that like it wouldn't make sense and it's gonna lose money, but like that shouldn't be our focus.
Yeah, and if anybody has the opportunity to uplift people, then I encourage you to do so. I mean, it's very fulfilling, it's very rewarding. A lot of the times, like I feel like after you pass a course, you're like, okay, I get the material, and I really think that could have been explained a lot better, you know? And then you can take that one step further. You can be like, okay, how can it be explained better? And then you can be a tutor at your school. Like a lot of schools offer the opportunity to be a paid tutor, or you can volunteer as a tutor, and like, it'll help you learn the material, it'll help you learn how to explain things, it'll help you learn how to establish relationships. So I just want to say for the audience, like if anybody has the chance or the drive to become a tutor, if anybody has the chance or the drive to become a tutor or an educator, I encourage you to do so, because it can build incredible skills, and it can help out a lot of people along the way. And I just think it's a very meaningful thing to do, and I think it's a way that our generation can make the changes that we want to see. And at the end of the day, if you want to see a change in the world, it's like it has to start with you. I mean, there's there's so many things that people criticize about the world, and I want this to change, I want that to change. It's like, well, what can you do to contribute? So
yeah, and also have a meaningful contribution. It's one thing to protest and do this, like say like, oh, this is not right, it should be this. It's another thing to actually like get the technical skills and the acuity and like move your way up and get into a position where you can make the change.
Exactly. And it starts from within, at the end of the day, I don't think it should be about titles or money or fame or whatever. It should be about, your, like, what do you want to do? And like, how can you help people? And like, if you can do something you want to do while helping people, it's like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's important to do good work. It's not like everything's not there just to, I'm doing this because I want to make X amount of money. Like, in that case, you probably don't, your heart is not in the right place. You're probably not going to like be passionate what you're doing, and you're doing it for the proper interests. So like teaching is for the interest of the students. But if you're thinking about other things that are not that, then you're not going to have interest in teaching students.
And is that part of the reason you chose to teach all these classes?
Yeah, because like realistically, like I think what happened was it was not me like insisting like doing a lot of these things. It's like I was teaching one class, a lot of students liked the way I taught. I have students that like they went up to me and like your recitation sessions were the only reason I passed the class, because like the professor was explaining the material in a way that it was not really the clearest way for students. And I think it's not because like the professor's fault or anything like that. It's just that if you're at a very high professional level and you're trying to explain material to people who, one, with later cohorts of classes, their math skills are slowly declining. Actually, not slowly, rapidly declining. And like different things, you have to like start tailoring your way. Like maybe his approach to teaching students like 20 years ago may have been very effective, but like to teach students in this age how to do that same thing with that same approach, it might not work. So you gotta like tailor to the audience that you're dealing with.
Yeah, you gotta get with the times.
Yeah.
Like that's really what it comes down to. I know some teachers who have been using the same notes since like the 80s. Like,
oh yeah.
It's wild. It's like, man, you gotta read the room too. And to kind of give the devil his due, I mean, I think that a lot of these teachers, they have the technical knowledge. Like, I don't doubt that they know what they're talking about. I just think that there's better ways that they can relay the information to the students. And then I think that there's a lack of reading the room. It's like if you're looking around and you see a crowd and they're all bored and they're all on their phones and they're all on their, just disinterested. It's like you should take that as a signal that you have an opportunity to change something and to like grab their attention, like in our position, like if we didn't grab their attention and if we weren't like very good at explaining this material, they wouldn't show up and we wouldn't have a crowd and we wouldn't have people coming back and we wouldn't have those students who said that, our lectures help them pass the class,
Yeah, and it's like harder for us because unlike with a normal class where you're basically expected to show up, you're paying money to attend those lectures, our office hours and recitations and like study groups and all that stuff, they're not mandated to show up. So the fact that we can have people show up to these at times that may not be convenient for them, a lot of times, that they're not required to do, that means that we have to have a good brand. Like we have to be effective at what we're doing, otherwise people don't show up. It's in capitalism, you have to, if you're not good at, if one business is not doing good at one thing, like nobody's gonna buy from them. Like you have to compete.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's just how it is. It's like you gotta have good enough quality for them to see the value in it, And it seems like you're doing a very good job at that.
Yeah, and also like 600 people, like that's a lot of people as well. Like like you can't try fitting 600 people in one room, convince them all to go into one room. It doesn't work like that. So that's pretty impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm grateful to have had the opportunity, and it's one of the most rewarding things is seeing them post on LinkedIn and stuff like, oh yeah, now I've gotten a job here, or, now I've completed my degree or whatever, and it's cool to be able to realize like, oh, I helped with one step along that journey, and
yeah, exactly.
I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to do that. So yeah.
And especially like in this day and age with the job market being pretty tough, having any competitive edge does really help. And I feel like a lot of students, like they're realizing that they want to take their studies seriously, they want to get involved and stuff. So encouraging that is a good thing to do. Yeah, we should not be like trying to like push people away like to like protect our own self-interest, because it's not gonna. Times change. Like you might have like low job growth in 1 year, you might have high job growth in 1 year. It's all cyclical. It's gonna change. Nothing's gonna last for a long time.
Well, then, what do you think students should focus on while they're in college or high school, for that matter, to set themselves apart?
Ooh, yeah. So I would say, in terms of high school, I think like getting involved does help. Like personally, I was not involved a lot. I learned a lot to making my own mistakes in college. But like I feel like getting involved does help, but also being good in academics as well. Because there's a lot of applicants to colleges out there that have a lot of similar stats. Like getting the best grades you can in high school does help. Taking rigorous classes that shows that you are motivated, like you can handle challenging coursework, because the coursework material in college and high school are completely different things. The workload, the time you need to devote to them, the pace of material, like you're basically taking, like chemistry taught in high school is over 2 semesters. Here it's like Chem 1 is 1 semester, Chem 2 is another semester. Like you have to like condense the time. Plus you're not meeting every day of the week. It's like you may at most meeting like 3 out of 5 days. So it's like the pace of lecturing goes pretty fast, and there might not be a lot of help and support that you may need. Plus a lot of like the gen classes like chemistry and physics and bio, you have a class size like 300 students versus like in high school where it's like maybe 30 students. So it's a different atmosphere as well. So it's something that you need to get used to. And for a lot of students, it can be a struggle, but like that's what freshman year is for. Like you get to like learn, like
see what works.
Yeah, see what works. You'll make mistakes, but then you have to learn how to pick up from those mistakes. Like maybe like form a study group, go to office hours, find resources online, or et cetera, because like a lot of different times, like these classes are testing whether they're not really testing the material that much. Like they're basically testing to see whether you can handle college level coursework. If you can pass and get through those, then you should be fine for your major level classes. And honestly, you want to get to your major level classes because that's where you're going to find the most enjoyment here.
Yeah, especially if it's something you're really interested in, you know? And on your note, I said the same thing. Like a note on what you said is that the sooner you can teach yourself how to learn, the better. You know, the sooner you can figure out how to figure it out on your own without anybody else's support, without anybody else's guidance, the better off you'll be, right?
Right.
You know, that was a skill that it took me. You know, that's a skill that you got to develop, and the sooner you can develop that, I think the more successful you'll be in school. And on your note, we're all gonna make mistakes. I still make mistakes. What's important is that you keep getting up and you keep fighting and you keep trying. I mean, even today I wasn't feeling 100%, but I was like, I committed to this, I'm gonna do it, I wanna do it, and nothing's gonna stop me. And I think that's the mentality that you have to have with school. You know, this is really, it's a marathon. Like, it's not a sprint, it's not something you can do overnight. Like, this is something that you have to dedicate to for a long time, and you have to, you know, you have to always get up and keep trying, and that's what's gonna be what sets you apart.
Yeah, and you're basically here for one goal only. It's either to get a job or like pursue higher education. So you want to make the most time that you have here, because 4 years is going to fly by pretty fast. So like if you're like wasting your time like just like partying and doing stuff that is not going to lead to some sort of long-term goal or anything, you'll feel like you wasted a lot of time and years. So you want to do things that like have some value. Like getting involved is a good thing to do. Get involved, like you can get involved like chemistry or like any department, clubs and stuff. Like try to build your knowledge, like cultural knowledge, build like your mental acuity, all that stuff. Physical education, that's also a good one as well. Or like you can get involved like your department, do research, do TAing, do mentoring. There's all sorts of stuff. Like in competitions as well. Like try to do stuff that can apply your knowledge and what you're good at, because that's going to help build you, not only your knowledge, but build you as a person as well. Also, internships. That is a good topic as well, because that's where you get to experience the workforce and how it's like. It's basically what they call it. It's basically like an 11-week interview process. The company gets to learn more about you, you get to learn more about the company, you get to see how it's like working a 9-to-5 job. So I guess like a lot of that stuff is, and also it helps build like your presentation skills, how you convey data, how you interact with people, how you talk to people, all that sorts of different things that you may not get from just going to classes. So yeah, it all depends on what you do. Like you could like do nothing extra and just go to class, do well in class, like pass, but like, and like graduate, but then did you gain any other valuable skills from that versus just like getting the degree? And it's not so much now. Like the job market is competitive. You need to do other things as well. Internships, research, clubs, all sorts of different things to even be competitive. And it's also about who you know and like your networking skills. Because jobs are not just gonna, if you don't involve yourself in anything, it's not like you can like walk up to a company and get a job, or like companies will go to you asking for you to work for them. It's not going to be like that. You have to actually seek out companies and build connections.
Absolutely, and there's so much I could say about that, but that is just facts. That is exactly how it is, and you put it very well. And you know, once you get out, it's really a competition, and you've really got to ask yourself like, what's going to set me apart from everybody else? Because like you can go and say, oh, I got my degree and the classes were hard, and everybody else could say the same thing, you know. So what are you gonna do now that is gonna set you apart later? And you know, what are you gonna be proud of? Like, what is something that you can do where you can actually wake up, enjoy doing it, look forward to doing it, and then look back and be like, that was awesome. I'm glad I could do that.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, as well as you really gotta ask yourself, like, what is something that you would like to do for a living? I mean, when you're a student, like it might not cross your mind, especially if you're like freshman, sophomore year, but you're going to have to come to the question where, you know, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? Or not the rest of my life, but like, what job am I going to get after college, you know? And as you said, like finding clubs to join, or, you know, these organizations to get involved in, or these internships to check out. It's like all of these extracurricular things, I feel like they kind of help you build a sense of like, what do you really like to do and what do you find interesting? And if you're able to find a job that capitalizes on that, where you can actually utilize your strengths and your interests and your passions for a way that makes you money, I feel like that's like really the key to success. It's like, figure out what you love to do and lock in and send it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, this is a great time to like try different things, see if you like it or not. Like, not everyone that comes to like UF, for example, they are going to stick with their majors. Like that could change. Like it depends. Like you take the first class and you're like, yeah, this is not for me, or like this is like too easy, or like this is too difficult, or like this is like I don't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And then if you're doing a major, you might be like, oh, like I never thought about going to grad school. Maybe that might be something I'm interested in. Or there's like, you know what, maybe I don't want to go to grad school. I want to go get a job. And then when you think about that, it's like, okay, what industry do you want to work for? Like I said earlier, chemical engineering is applicable to like a whole host of industries. So like maybe you're interested in semiconductors, maybe you're interested in working in oil and gas, or maybe you want to work at like paper or like agriculture or like the food industry. Like doing internships, for example, like if you hate it, like great, you don't go to that industry, but like if you like it, then you have something that you can target for like a job, and you build those connections, to build those industry connections, and it does help to get a job as well.
Yeah. So what internships did you have and what did you learn from them?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. So I did 2 internships. So before going to my senior year, I was at Intel in Oregon, and I was working in planarization. So I was mostly helping with data analysis, doing some projects on like automating data collection tools, working with different interns and groups to like coordinate data analysis for planarization tools and stuff. And I was working in a more R&D focus, so a lot of stuff that is new, experimental, trying to analyze data, see what's going on, tool health and all that sort of stuff. And that really helped me, like, first of all, it was my first experience in a workforce. Like, TAing and working at these jobs on campus is one thing, but like working at a company of thousands of people is a whole different environment. You got to learn how to present your materials to other people. A lot of these people, like, they may not be technical experts in one thing as you, so you got to learn how to generalize it. And I feel like one thing that we see a lot here is like in academia, people love to talk in detail ad nauseum. Like they forget that that's one thing. You're talking to people that are like, for example, you're a catalysts guy and you're talking to people who are experts in catalysts. Then try to talk to people who are experts in bio. You can't use the same presentation.
Yeah, it's like Spanish.
Yeah, they're not gonna. Yeah, exactly. You have to translate it. You got to make it general. And then, what about to the general public audience? Oh no, now you got to make it even more basic. So like that type of stuff. So you got to keep it general, but not lose the main point, which is something that you got to learn how to do. So making presentations, interacting with people, and then getting people to do what you want, and like trying to drive your projects, because a lot of times like, you have to work with different entities, different people. Like some people may not be helpful, let's just say. Some people may not see the urgency that you do in doing something. So you gotta like have to have some drive and management in that type of thing. So I really got experience for that. And you get to meet a whole host of people and like interact with them. And I will say it was a good experience. Plus, Oregon is a very beautiful state to check out in terms of nature and everything. I don't know about like Portland, but the mountains, waterfalls, that stuff is nice. And then my second internship was in Texas it was for Samsung, and this was in Austin. And then that had a lot of similarities as well, but I got like a whole different experience because I was working in EHS. So this group encompasses the entire plant. It's not just planarization, which is like one little corner of the company. This is like managing the health and safety of the entire process. So you get the big picture. You have to keep things generalized. You have to have your messages be effective and on point, because you need this stuff to resonate with people. You don't want to bore them into technical jargon that they're not going to understand. When it comes to safety, that is a very important topic, and you want to make sure everyone understands what you're doing and are on board with it. So, and also managing chemical supplies and stuff, working with other people. And with EHS is like you have to like interact with all these departments, get the information out, all of that stuff. So it works. You have to have a lot of communication with that. And I felt like I learned a lot from that experience as well.
So what kind of safety topics were you covering?
So you have like process safety, you have like chemical safety, like unit safeties and stuff. We also have stuff like ergonomics as well, like workplace ergonomics, not just like working at your desk, but like working in the fab, for example, like what's the proper position for working like within a tool or something, because you have to do tool maintenance and stuff. Or like gas masks, for example, because we have a lot of toxic chemicals, or like spills and or like noise in the fab, because it's a very noisy place. It's a lot of different aspects. So you don't usually think about safety. Like when we're designing a plant and like process design, we may think about like high pressure, high temperature can lead to unsafe conditions, or like pressure, like vessels can erupt due to high pressure and stuff like that, or runaway reactions. But we don't think about the nitty gritty stuff that you actually need to take into account when you have to make a plant. Noise, for example, ergonomics, that's stuff that we don't take into account in like an ideal model. But this is stuff that you have to think of. And a lot of this stuff is expanding. Like you may think like, oh, maybe we should do something on this, and they haven't thought of it. So like it's always growing.
Interesting. Yeah, Samsung is a great company too. I mean,
it's a big company.
You know, my equipment is Samsung. I'm a big fan of Samsung. Yeah, and that had to be cool to just see like the inner workings of how that operates, you know, because that's just kind of such a niche world, you know. I can imagine it was interesting to kind of jump into it and see what was going on.
Plus you get to work with a lot of different types of people. So like people in my teams, they were mostly industrial engineers, process safety, you have some chemical engineers. A lot of the interns I was working with in EHS, they were mechanical engineers. So you have a whole different range of disciplines and stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think it's probably one of the best like real world experiences that you can get while you're in college, you know, because you know, when you're in college, it doesn't always reflect the reality of life, right? It's kind of like a walled garden in some aspects. And you know, I had an internship too. Actually, I was a mechanical engineering intern for a Naval Surface Warfare Center. Near where you lived, actually. It was in Maryland. It was Nancy.
Yep, that region is well known for defense.
Yeah, exactly. So I was boots on the ground up there, learning how all that works, and you know, of course, I signed an NDA, so there's only so much I can talk about.
Right.
But it was interesting to see kind of the behind the scenes on, you know, how the government works and how these systems are developed and how our weapons are developed, and you know what process goes into creating these different things, and you know, somewhat somewhat counterintuitively, the main lesson I got from that was I don't want to work for the government. I don't want to work for the government. I don't want to sit in an office all day and, simulate something or model something. That was just, it was just not the way I wanted to be. I saw like a lot of bureaucracy. I saw a lot of red tape, and I saw like a lack of enthusiasm. Like I saw everybody just kind of going to work because maybe they're like trapped into this life or something. And
you get paid, it's a salary, like
it's like why would I
make this harder than it needs to be?
Right. It's like why would I give 100% when you have the whole freaking government covering your paycheck?
Yeah, like my dad, he works at a defense company as well in Melbourne actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Oh, there's plenty of them. And it's like it's one thing like when you're managing a lot of different people, so you have some sort of impact as well. But I get what you mean when you're working for like the government specifically, because I feel like if you're at like a position where it's like you're just basically just punching in numbers into your computer, is like what's the enjoyment you can get? And I think that's what some people don't understand. Is like there's like two different types of jobs you can do. You can one be a follower and like just like have a boss like just tells you what to do and you do it and you can have a very content life. Or if you want to feel like you have an impact, you can be a leader, manage people, try to make some decisions, be accountable to decisions, and then feel like you're having a real world impact on whatever industry that you're working for.
Absolutely. And then you have a say, And you actually have
and you're not just a blind sheep following somebody.
Yeah, and you get the chance to actually build the culture that you want,
Exactly.
And like you get to actually like create the team that you want to have, and that's awesome. That's incredible, And that's one thing that I'm really excited about this sales job for. It's like it's an opportunity for me to lead the charge in getting this product out there and performing a good service for the world, and it's very exciting, and I think it's much more suited to my strengths. So does your dad like the position that he's in?
Oh yeah, I think he likes it.
Yeah.
He has like me, he likes managing people, like making decisions and stuff, and like trying to like have some sort of real world impact as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I will say, like, when I'm doing my TA jobs as well, I try to feel like I want to like have like a big role. I just don't want to follow like, for example, what the professors do. I could easily just like take the professor's notes, just like read them word for word and like just write it down, do like practice problems that they assigned and stuff. Like, no, I don't do that. I make my own lecture material. I do my own practice problems. I have my own structure for how I teach the class. If the professor's out of town, I teach it my own way, in a way that I feel like it's better. And then I also do my recitation sessions in my own way. So because I want to have my own brand.
Exactly.
I don't want to just follow somebody. And it's also very hard to follow like other people's notes and teach it from them. Like I can't really do that.
Yeah, and there's so much more enthusiasm that comes with making it yourself and teaching it the way that you want to teach it.
It does require extra effort, but the rewards are worth it.
Oh, it's definitely worth it. So what made you want to take on these leadership roles?
I feel like it could be due to my stubbornness, maybe. It's like a trait that I've had when I was younger as well. Like I don't like following people, like for a lack of a better term, who are not interested in doing something. Like you'll have people that are like leaders, but they don't really care about it. They may not have all the knowledge of doing something. They might be just flat out stupid, for a lack of a nicer word. And like, do you really want to follow someone like that? Or do you want to make the change that you want? Like there are people like that are very smart and stuff. Like I don't mind following them and like doing, because I feel like I know I'll go in the right direction. But you want to follow people that like know what they're doing, or try to also help lead the charge as well, or better yet, be the leader yourself. Like people like have that inner drive to do something. They're gonna make the best leaders, not the people that are like they're put in the position because why not? You have to have some sort of drive to do something.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, even in a restaurant, it's like who's going to be better, the MBA that parachuted into the top, or the guy who worked his whole life as a dishwasher and then as a busboy and then as a server and then as a manager? It's like if you work your way up to the top and it's like you do it for the right reasons, it's like you'll naturally be a good leader.
Yeah, and the whole point, like if you're working your way up to the top, that means you have ambition. Like
Exactly.
someone who just like wants to like stay as the dishwasher boy, like they're not gonna have any drive to like do other things in that type of job.
Yeah, and it's also worth saying you gotta pay your dues. I mean, I washed dishes for 2 years.
Oh yeah, you gotta start from the bottom as well.
Yeah, I just worked at a restaurant for another 5 months. Like I said, I sold paint. I worked in warehouses. Like, like you got to do what you got to do to pay your bills and feed yourself at the end of the day.
But this also is good experience. It builds character, builds your skills. A lot of skills you can like builds your communication skills as well. That's definitely something that people definitely need more of.
Exactly, and it humbles you, because if somebody is like always the leader and they've only been the leader, then it's like they might not be the best team player, And this is something that I've talked to my career coach a lot about. It's that leadership is one skill, and then being a team player is another skill. There's a lot of overlap, but both of them are very important.
Oh yeah, I've been team players on a lot of different things. Worked for different people. Like always have to like do it. So it all depends on what work you do, and usually people notice. Like if you're doing good work and stuff, then people will notice. Like okay, like maybe this guy knows what he's doing. Like we can like give him more opportunities and stuff. But it all depends like what you want to do. Like if you're in like a team of people, just do the best work that you can because that'll get recognized. And then that is way like you can't just say like I want to lead this team. You need experience. You need to have some sort of history. So like building up that history, working from the bottom, going all the way to the top, like that's how you're gonna build it and build recognition. And that's how you build like some sort of reputation among your fellow employees as well, because then they can see what work you do.
Exactly. It's like they see that hard work you put in, they recognize it, and
they'll respect you for it.
And they will, absolutely. And yeah, even down the road, it just builds great relationships because you have that shared experience, And on that note, I want to mention how we know each other. Advanced Advanced Chemistry and Biology Lab.
Yep.
1 and 2. Team 1.
Yep. Same team.
Yep. So we had a whole semester together, and we did a bunch of friggin' semiconductor stuff last semester.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We did like planarization.
I'll say that's such a unique experience. You don't really find it at a lot of schools. Like a lot of schools don't have like a full-blown like clean room and like these like semiconductor labs and stuff. Like the fact that we have this opportunity is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it was kind of cool to see all the details and how that works. Like we literally had like for one of our experiments, we literally printed like these little lines onto a silicon wafer that would be the lines where the electrons actually travel through.
Oh yeah.
All the different like thicknesses and we could actually see it through a microscope. Like it was pretty cool. And then we also got up and presented it in front of our class a bunch of times.
Yeah, and data analysis as well. Like we collected a bunch of data and stuff. Like first of all, we need to figure out what data that we can measure is going to have any relevance to say like whether this print quality is good, for example.
Yeah.
And then we like analyze them, like what effects are relevant. So like understanding how to do that type of analysis, like we were not told like what data analysis we need to collect. We need to figure out what is relevant. Like we had some guidance and stuff, but like we had to like figure out a lot of the stuff on our own. And I think that's what this lab is mostly there to teach us.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Patanker, shout out. He's a great professor. He's doing a great job running the course. And we're actually in the second half of that series of courses, Advanced Chemistry and Biology Lab 2. And yeah, we're in the thick of it. We're in the trenches.
Same group.
Yes, with Shane and Aiden. Yep.
That was a coincidence that happened.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, sweet, we got the same guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's nice. Dude, I've done so many labs. It's been insane. Like,
oh my, like
Gen Chem 2, OChem, PChem. Like,
don't get me started on Gen Chem labs. Like honestly, like chemical engineering labs, like once you take them, they're like, oh, this is like no matter any flaws you might find in them, it's like this is like it actually teaches you how to think. It's actually like a valuable experience. Whereas like a Gen Chem lab, like the only thing I learned is that no matter what the hell you do, you need to wear your safety goggles all the time. Forget wearing gloves. Like the labs here, like ortho labs here, like you don't have to wear gloves. They don't even have gloves out there. Like what's the point? But then you have like lab managers that come around. They're like, they don't look at like, oh, whether you're working in the fume hood for like toxic chemicals that may give you cancer later in your life. They care about if you're wearing goggles.
Well, what has been your favorite lab of all the labs you've taken?
Like with the advanced chem bio labs? Or just like...
Or just any of them?
Any of them. I would honestly say Advanced Chem Bio Lab 1, I honestly really enjoyed it. The semiconductor stuff, that was pretty enjoyable. I would also say my unit ops 1 and 2 labs, there are a lot of valuable experiences there, especially since right now our chemical engineering building back there is under construction.
Yeah.
But in the old building, which was that one, we had an industrial scale unit operations lab. So like an industrial size, like the distillation column was like 2 stories tall. We had like industrial-sized liquid extraction. We had like large heat exchanger models, large fluid beds, and all that stuff. So like and large filtration drums as well. Like we had like a fertilizer company. So it's like a lot of equipment that you may see in industry, and we get to work with it, and like we get to experience it. So it does give us like what does like a process plant like looks like. So I felt like that was a very enjoyable experience. Plus, I had a really good group for that as well.
That always helps. So, did you guys get to make like a custom experiment for yours?
I would say for my undergrad labs, not really.
Oh, really?
I think it's more guided. I mean, like when you get to Unit Ops 1, you have students like you don't know like what their experiences are. So like they may have internship experiences, they may not. So there's a little bit more guidance. Then when you get to Unit Ops 2, you can allow them to think a little bit more, like how you. Like for example, like in Unit Ops 1, we tell them what data they need to collect, how to present it, and like how they should graph it, and what they need to plot. Unit Ops 2 is like, okay, you just bring what data is relevant and you plot it in a way that makes it relevant. So it helps build them up. And when you get to Advanced Compile Lab, you get to pick what data is relevant.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. Yeah, for ours, we got to make soaps. So they were just like, all right, do whatever you want. Tell us what you guys want to do. Like the other group was making alcohol, I think, and then we were just making soap, and that was kind of it. And it was very small.
I guess it does vary as well. Yeah,
that was kind of fun. So let me ask you this while we're on the topic of advanced chemical engineering courses. So what'd you do for your process design project?
So for our process design project, we made acetaminophen.
Acetaminophen, really? Yep. What's that? Tylenol?
Tylenol, yeah. We basically made Tylenol. So
wow. We
had a list of chemicals that we could have picked from, and they had pharmaceutical chemicals. And honestly, the funny reason how we chose that? So in our group, we decided to make a team name first, and we put all of our first letters together, and the name that we ended up was JJ Med. So we're like, okay, now with this name, we have to pick a pharmaceutical. Like, come on, it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then we picked acetaminophen.
Oh wow! How involved was that?
I would say it's pretty involved. There was a lot of learning to be involved because we didn't realize there's a lot of solid separations that we need to do. Because when you get acetaminophen, it's a solid. When you open up a tablet, it's not a liquid tablet. It's a granular solid tablet. So the way that we were learning, we were using software called HYSYS. So HYSYS is basically, it's a really good software for like modeling liquid process, but not so good at modeling solids. So then we had another software called Aspen Plus. And with Aspen Plus, you can model both liquids and solids. It's a much more advanced tool, but it's not a very user-friendly tool.
Yeah, you can model everything, basically. Like any chemical engineering process.
Yeah, and in our curriculum, we're only taught HYSYS, not Aspen Plus.
Wow.
So we had to self-teach ourselves Aspen Plus midway through the project. So that was a whole other learning experience that we had to do that not a lot of other groups did, because a lot of them chose like simpler chemicals and stuff, but we decided to choose acetaminophen just because of our team name. But we learned a lot, honestly. Like I feel like this was a very good learning experience, like how to do solid separations, how to like find data. This is a pharmaceutical drug after all, so it's not easy to find like experimental pathways and stuff. And like that has any data, like we all take an orgo, we could have like just like drawn out the structure, like find ways to like combine different structures together and make the process. But it's like, okay, that's great. Now find an actual reaction and like find its kinetic data on it. It's like we are not allowed to like run like actual like lab scale experiments to make this. So we have to go find data online to see what processes actually work and what processes are safe and stuff. So a lot of this stuff is like, it's not like you have to like think of all this stuff on your own. Like you have to know how to do research as well, and like take what's already out there and like you can modify it. Obviously, like we modified our process because we needed to translate this batch process into a continuous process.
You got to know how to synthesize it, though.
Yes, you need to understand how to do it. I mean, to be fair, you're not going to be an expert. This degree is not teaching you to be an expert in every single little reaction and like pathway and like process plan and all that stuff. It's basically like giving you the tools you need to like take on any different types of product. Like you still have to do your research and all that stuff, but you have like a familiarity and a basis to understand it.
Absolutely, and it gives you appreciation for the modeling that goes into these things. I mean, just to make one little capsule, you'd be amazed at how much goes into it. Like from the chemistry to the to all the equipment, to the kinetics, to the optimal conditions, and to the economic.
It's not like anyone can also do the modeling as well. Like the model is based on like what data you give it. Like you have to still understand how it works. It's just at the end of the day, it's just a fancy calculator.
Yeah, I guess like pretty much all software is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not AI software. It's not like even then. That's like with chemical engineering problems. It's kind of bad at doing that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So. Yeah, ours was pretty interesting. We never used HYSYS. We used Aspen.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's like what a lot of schools do. I don't know why we use HYSYS.
Yeah, I'm surprised you did. Yeah, we took, hypothetically, of course, we took like corn, silver, rice straw, like agricultural byproducts, and we essentially developed a system that would use acids, tetrahydro something acid, and it would turn it into furfural, and then from that we would turn it into tetrahydrofurfural
interesting.
acid, THFA. Yeah.
Now I want to ask you. So in your process design class, did you guys have like industry sponsors or anything, or was it just like
sponsors?
Because I know, actually, it's not really the design class. There's like a lot of schools have like the capstone class, which is something separate. But it's like you work with industries, and they give you a project, and they give you a budget to do it, and you like model something or make something for them. So, and our school doesn't really have something that's required to do that. But like, I wonder if your school had that.
So that's a good question. For the chemical engineering department, that's typically not the case. However, my friend Navan, he is in mechanical engineering, and he said that for their capstone project, it was essentially developing a technology for, I think it was Lockheed Martin. So I think some of the contractors, like if they have one specific project they want to work on, and the time and the resources, of course, then they'll outsource it to the college.
Right, and also like Melbourne has a lot of different defense companies, aerospace companies, and stuff like.
Yeah, Cape Canaveral is like 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
We see rocket launches go off all the time.
Yeah, it's like you find a lot of places to work with. Here it's like you do have some companies as well, but I feel like Melbourne has a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Than Gainesville.
Yeah, they got the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the big dogs.
They got like more agriculture, like paper processing and stuff here. It's a little more rural agriculture area, but we do have a lot of like. I think we have like a refinery here, like a.
Oh really?
Like an alcohol plant.
Well, we got some breweries. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Breweries. Yeah, we have that. We have one here as well.
Yeah, Swamphead.
Yep.
Yeah, that place is awesome. If you want some good beer, go to Swamphead.
I'm trying to think of what else we have here. I know this is one plant that's in Palatka. Forgetting what company it was.
Couldn't tell you. I never really researched it, honestly. That wasn't really my path of research. What's interesting about being around here is that like, you don't get like a whole lot of like big famous names, but like, I think there's like quite a few startups that are from around here though. Because I think the students kind of like come together and they have an idea, and there's the UF Innovation Center and the Incubator Hub, and basically these are organizations that are meant to help startup companies take off. And a good mentor of mine, Mr. Ryan Montez, he actually graduated from here with a master's degree and a PhD in chemical engineering, and now he has gone on to create his own company, and he's a CEO now.
Yeah.
And so I think this is like a really good place for startup companies. I just don't know if those companies typically stay around here.
That's the thing. It also depends like what the type of company is. Like you probably like in certain areas are better suited for it. Like I would say for like high tech, like semiconductor companies, like Texas is a very good area for that, especially near Austin and stuff. That's where the real scene is. Florida, you don't really see that much.
Yeah, dude, it seemed like every time we had to pick a spot for a big project, it was always Texas. Every single time.
Like Texas, they have a lot of industries there. It's a very booming state.
Oh yeah, dude, they're popping off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to go there.
It's a nice place. I've been there last summer. It's like Austin's pretty cool. You have a lot of nice hills and nature as well. It's not just completely flat.
Oh wow.
And the weather was kind of nice. It was very rainy though.
Rainy?
That summer.
Yeah.
They said it was going to be very hot, but it wasn't for that summer.
Yeah, I don't mind the rain. When I was up in Alaska, the place I lived, it was actually in a temperate rainforest. So it rained.
Well, it must be a very beautiful area then.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, when the clouds part, of course. and when you can see it, it's just one of the most beautiful places on earth. I mean, where I was, like, the mountains, they actually touched the ocean. So, and you had all these islands scattered out in the ocean. So, like, on a sunny day, you could just see the boats and the islands. And
were you near, like, the north slope, or were you, like, more close to, like...
It was southeast.
Southeast.
It was southeast. So,
it's like near Juneau?
So, yeah, close to Juneau. Okay. So if this is Alaska, I was, like, down here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty beautiful area. There's a lot of nice islands as well.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I lived on one for a little while.
How many years did you live in Alaska?
I just went there for 2 summers.
2 summers?
So I was an assistant manager at a charter lodge the first summer. And it was cool. Just drove people to and from the airport. I got to go on all the hikes. On this specific island, there was a bunch of mountains around, so we got to go on. I got to see all the mountains. There was also a volcano across across a strip of the ocean, and I actually went over there and hiked the volcano too. And that was a lot of fun. I made a good reputation there. Met some really cool people. Everybody there is interesting. Every single person, because like they either live there, and that's pretty cool, or they're from somewhere way far away, and that's pretty cool too. And there was a lot of tourists that visited that place, and it was cool to see all them too. And then the second summer is when I was a deckhand, so I got to actually go explore the ocean.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's where I got the beard. And yeah, that was incredible. So that same volcano, it was on an island called Baranof, and we would essentially fish around the island. We would either do a northern run and fish along the northern part of it, or do a southern run and fish along the southern part. And some days we would actually do a lap around the entire volcano island.
And that sounds pretty impressive. That's like one of the states I want to visit.
Oh yeah, dude, it's incredible. I love it there. I'd highly recommend it. Yeah, it really brought me back down to earth. It really it just reminded me that I'm a visitor here, on earth, and that like, humans, like we're part of nature. We don't own nature, and it's like, I think that's important to keep in mind. I mean, we live in such isolated civilizations, or that's not the right word. We just live in these like man-made civilizations. And I think it's easy for people to lose touch with nature, and people to lose touch with like, the trees and the lakes and the birds and the fish.
Yeah, I just want to see grass.
Yeah, you gotta go touch grass every now and then.
Yeah, and it's like, it's also kind of impressive, like in this country, like you can find deserts, you can find rainforests, mountains, like lots of different hills and stuff, beaches, all sorts of different things. You just like drive a couple hours and see something different.
Oh, 100%. It's like a completely different country.
Oh yeah, we have like a lot of different, we have like every type of like biome you could imagine.
Oh yeah, literally, yeah. Dude, if you go to like Alaska and compare it to Florida, it's like, it's just like
you have like one end of this country, you got like another end of this country, it's like, it's like completely different. And then you got Hawaii as well, which is something completely different.
Oh yeah, that's quite the wild card. Even in Alaska, that's the biggest state, and it's like it's like a whole country in and of itself.
Oh yeah, and it's like, for me, I feel like this is like a blessing in disguise. Like me not growing up in like one place here, I got to like experience like different cultures in America. It's not like when people outside America, they think like, oh, America is just like New York or LA. It's like, no, it's not. Like, it's Iowa. Like, I bet most people never heard of where Iowa is, or a lot of people in this country probably don't know where Iowa is. But like, these have a nice, quiet, Midwestern type life. Then you got like a place like Florida, which is a little bit more busy, like more laid back, I would say.
Oh yeah.
It's a little bit. You have a lot of tourists as well. We see a lot of tourists in this state.
Yeah, and I hope to have the chance to travel and explore.
Oh yeah, same here.
And that's just an incredible opportunity. I mean, especially when you're young, like in college. In fact, this is something I wanted to mention to my club on Wednesday. There's actually a website called Coolworks, and it's all for just out-of-state jobs. So like if you ever want to work at like a lodge or just somewhere out of state for a summer, then that's kind of the website you go to for it. And I think it's a great opportunity. It builds character. It gives you a chance to see another part of the world, and I think a lot of people, if they don't explore and get out there and adventure, then sometimes they kind of get caught in this little bubble or this little box, and they have a hard time like being open-minded, So I think it's a great opportunity to, whenever you get to see somewhere new and see how another culture lives. I mean, my dad, he lived in Colombia for like 13 years, so I used to go down there every summer when I was a kid, and that was quite the eye-opener.
Yeah, I honestly would want to travel a lot more. I mean, I've never really traveled outside this country. The only country I actually visited was Canada, but then again, that's not like, it's not really too different.
Yeah, it's like our little brother.
Yeah, so like I really want to travel to Europe. There's a lot of cool things to see there as well, especially like the historic, not like the like stuff that like people like, a lot of the historic stuff like Greece, for example, like that's pretty interesting. A lot of ancient culture, Italy as well, like Roman cultures and stuff.
See the Vatican, the Parthenon.
Yeah.
I want to see the Colosseum. Yeah. I want to go to Japan.
Oh yeah, Japan's a good one as well.
Yeah, my grandfather said that was the best place he's ever been to was Japan. One of his favorite places. And yeah, I want to go to Ireland. I have Irish heritage, as you can probably tell. And yeah, I don't know. I just want to see what's out there. There's like so much out there to see. You know, I feel like people get caught up in their own life and their own track, and it's like there's a whole world out there. Like there's a lot more out there than meets the eye, and it's, you know, it's important to explore new ways of life.
Yeah, I also want to visit England as well. I have a lot of relatives on my dad's and mom's side that have been in England for like several generations. I want to see how they're doing there as well.
Yeah, I hear that place is cool. I hear it's rainy.
Rainy, questionable food, weather, yeah.
It's okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Probably see what's going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
What's cool about this job that I've been able to land is that I'll be able to travel, you know.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
So, you know, of course I want to set up a base camp around where I live, but there's nothing stopping me from going to other states and pitching it to these people. So, so who knows? Maybe I'll get to travel the country. And, you know, like, I encourage people to kind of make the lifestyle that they really enjoy to like living, you know. And right now I have an opportunity to actually have my lifestyle be traveling around the country, hosting podcasts, and selling an important formulation to people. And I think that's awesome. I think that's something to really look forward to.
Yeah, it's like also like what you do now in your 20s is going to be different from what you do in your 30s. Like if you're like single and like you have a lot, like you can like be more explorer, you can like do different things, you can like explore more, you can like change jobs more, like do all sorts of, experiment a little bit because you're not settled down anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Just go and see what works. Throw spaghetti at a wall and
something sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see what you like to do. See what works for you. You know, and you know, one thing I realized throughout my life is that your interests are going to change, and you know what you find fascinating is going to change, and that's okay. You know, like I used to be really into drawing, when, you know, in high school, and then I got really into poetry, and now I'm really into, you know, podcasting, and so your interests are going to change as you get older, and that's okay. And you know, I don't think you need to like hold on to one or the other for any specific reason. I think I think it's a good thing to embrace these changes and to figure out what interests you at, you know, right now, and try different things because you never know what you might find interesting.
Yes, exactly. Like it's not like you may have a general idea now what you think may be interesting, but maybe you do it for like a while. Like, yeah, this is not for me.
Yeah,
and you change it up a little bit. Like you can't do that.
Exactly. Yeah, for real. I went to like an improv class one time. I was like, nah, this is not it, dude. I'm like, it was worth a try though. But yeah, you know, you just because that's what life's all about. You know, it's like you can't just be told what to do all the time. I mean, of course we all gotta follow instructions, but like, you know, you gotta figure out what excites you. You gotta figure out what interests you. You gotta figure out what you want to do, and then you gotta get up and go do it and see if you like it.
Yeah, sometimes like if you're like told to do this one thing, 9 times out of 10 you regret doing it because it's not something you wanted to do.
Exactly, and that gets onto the topic of reasons. You know, it's like I feel like you got to make sure your reasons are right. You know, because just lately, like my reasons have just been echoing in my mind, and it's been very powerful and forceful. And it's like, this is why you're getting up and going to do this, and it's very important, and you got to remember that. And you know, I think that's one of the strongest driving factors that you can have for whatever you do. You know, because if your reasons are strong enough, and you love what you do, and you're excited to do it, and you get up and you want to go do it, then you're going to outcompete the people who don't have those. I mean, that's just how it is. It's like, it's hard to outwork somebody who's having fun, you know?
Oh yeah, exactly. Like even if like you may be doing something that may not make a lot of money or stuff, but if you're enjoying it, you're going to enjoy it a lot more, and you're going to basically want to go to work and do it, and like you're not going to be regretting your life, like why did I do this? Like you're going to have, it's important to have satisfaction in your life, otherwise it's like, what's the point of doing things?
Exactly. Well, what do you find satisfying?
I feel like something that finds me satisfaction is like helping out people, doing things that like have real world impacts. That's my general thing. Like forget like talking about specific like majors and stuff. Like I feel like I want to do something that has be in a role that would let me have the greatest influence on whatever I'm working with.
And right now that seems to be teaching.
Yeah, for my skill right now, it's been teaching, and like that's something I built up. So like in my 5 years here, I went from like being involved in absolute nothing to like basically being like the teaching a bunch of different courses. Where the running joke now is like I basically like teach half the courses in this department. Not that if you ask a lot of students, like they basically like they end up with me as like their TA or something. It's like
it's like you again. Like
yeah, exactly. I'm surprised they're not getting tired of you right now.
For real. Wow. Well, that speaks a lot about you and your level of understanding of all this material.
And it's the reputation that you make. If you don't, like, that's just something I don't understand. Like, with a lot of T's, like, even if you want to just do it one time, like, you have to do it or something, at least for the PhD students, you have to do it one time. It's important to leave a good mark. Like, just don't do it and then just half-ass it and just put in, like, bare minimum effort you make, because it leaves a mark on, like, what people think about you as well. Like, you want to have a positive reputation or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You want to put your best foot forward.
Yeah, and you want to have a good lasting memory.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah, exactly. Like, sometimes I like to think, like, you know, I think that when other people think of me, they're like, you know, that guy was kind of strange, but he was a good dude.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, strangeness, quirkiness is also pretty nice. Like, I like to, like, tell a few jokes and stuff, like, trying to be a little edgy or whatever. But I at the end of the day, I want to get the material out. And, like, if you can make it engaging and funny, that's how students remember things. You don't want to be boring.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'd rather be, quirky and awkward and, like, myself than boring, you know, and do it the same way everybody else does, because that's no fun. You know? Like, do it your way.
You have to have some fun with it. Like, I have fun doing my job. Like, I don't try to make it boring and stuff. Like, and students can see that.
That's what I'm saying. You know, you gotta make it your own. You know, it's like what Bruce Lee said. He said, take what is useful, disregard what is useless, and add what is uniquely your own.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I feel like those are good words to live by.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter like what job you're doing. Like, even if you're like working at like a fast food restaurant, like you want to put your best impression forward. You don't want to just go to work and just half-ass it and like just put in like 10% effort. You want to put in all the effort you can, and like because you're basically like self-marketing yourself to other people. You want to market yourself in the way that you want to be seen.
Yeah.
Because like it's one thing like, oh, it's like this job doesn't matter. Like, no, everything matters. Like if you don't market yourself in a positive way or whatever you want to do here, how do you know you're going to do it here or for things that you actually like? And then how do you know your reputation is going to be consistent? So you want to be consistent everywhere.
Exactly. It's like that saying. It's like how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that was a big motivator on, you know, for me when I was first searching for jobs around here. When I got back from Alaska, I wanted to be a server. That was like, I was fully committed. I was like, I'm gonna be a server. I'm gonna be a waiter. It's gonna be awesome. So I looked for all these waitering jobs around here. Nobody was hiring. A little discouraged. It's okay. I ended up getting a job for the bars program, where I drive around and make sure places are checking IDs. I still do that sometimes. And along the way, I was like, you know, like all these restaurants, it's like these workers are just not putting the best effort. You know, it just seemed like they didn't really have a great attitude about it, you know. And I was like, this is something I can change. This is something I want to change. So I got a job at Bolé. I was a front of house, so I was serving food, and I took a lot of pride in being able to provide a good service for people and have a good attitude and like ask them how their day's going. And now, as I, you know, fast forward a little bit, when I was walking to and from work at Bolé, I kept passing the valet drivers, right? And so I would talk to them and be like, oh, hey, how you doing? What's up? You guys hiring? You know, and I probably made like 7 inquiries. And then the manager, he got my number, he got my email, I got in contact with him. And then now I have the opportunity to actually welcome people to Gainesville and actually welcome them to the AC Hotel and, set a good impression for them entering the town. Because these people, they've been driving from, who knows where. And sometimes this is like the first time they've been to Gainesville. People were here for a wedding the other day, and it's like you're the first person they see when they get out of the car. And, I take a lot of pride in that. And so, yeah, it's just cool to be able to set that impression with people and to have a good memory. And to,
plus, you get to meet like really interesting people as well.
Oh yeah, there's some characters that come through here. A lot of New Yorkers.
Yeah,
surprisingly, but like, yeah, it's just yeah, like you said though, it's important to like just to leave a good impression on people, because not a lot of people had that. Like when I was growing up, there weren't a lot of people that set a really good impression on me. And that really bugged me. And now it's like I really want to be able to set a good impression on other people and have the chance to show them that, like it's okay to do your best, and it's I encourage you to like just do whatever makes you happy. And I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's important to set a good impression on people.
Yeah, and exactly. Like for example, I decided to volunteer. Like I didn't have to do this. I decided to volunteer to help the new recruit PhD students that are coming to UF, like help them out, like guide them to their classes or whatever, or like we took them out to events. So I was like or like also just getting to know them, talk to them, find out their interests and stuff. So I was doing that because I want to like try to like help out these students, like make sure they have a good picture of what they're getting themselves into when they come here, and just welcome them to Gainesville as well.
Yeah, exactly, and welcome them to college. Like that's a big step up for a lot of people. I mean, moving to a different state a lot of times and starting this new education, and it can be intimidating, and that was a big reason that I was so happy to do the job I did at Florida Tech, was because I taught general chemistry, and that's like a lot of times one of the first classes that people took, and it was cool to be able to provide them with that guidance and be someone who could just help them build some confidence in themselves.
Yeah, I think a lot of times it's like people like, sometimes we underestimate people. Like they can be really smart. It's just that like you need to bring their confidence out of people. Like you need to like have them be in an environment where they can be themselves and like without any pressure, so they can then do the work, and they maybe just need some motivation. Because a lot of people, they can do the work. It's just like if you properly motivate them, properly teach it to them for like with material and stuff, they can do good things.
You got to set the stage. You got to set the environment.
Yeah, if your environment's not good and you don't set a good foundation for a lot of steps, then it doesn't matter what you do on top of it.
Exactly. Yeah, because you're kind of like building on sand,
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. It's like, and that is a skill too, being able to bring this out of people, because people are a lot more capable than I think they realize. And, maybe that's just because they never had the right guidance or the right environment or the right opportunity or the right problem to solve that plays to their strengths. And, if you can do that and, if you can provide the stage for people to excel and succeed, then, it's amazing what that will result in.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of times like proper motivation is key. Like motivational podcasts like this are a good way to like help out, like give advice to younger people like who may feel like, oh, everything's against them at this point, like job market is bad, people are not hiring, even grad school like applications, they're also pretty rough. Trying to find anything positive in this world, like just like it's at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what's going on outside. It's all about what you want to do. It's all about how much effort you put into something. Because if you have the drive, you can still succeed. That's the thing. It's not all doom and gloom and negative from that aspect. Because nobody's gonna hand you anything out. You have to like forge your own path.
Like you have to seek to find.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to. Yeah, there's a lot that I can say about that. Like, I mean, there's been so many days, even, since starting the master's degree, where it's been very discouraging, and you just have to continue to fight. I mean, you just have to keep getting up, and it's okay to fall and stumble as long as you're going in the right direction. It's like,
oh yeah, you're probably gonna fall and like make some mistakes, but like you make mistakes while trying. You don't want to just like make mistakes and not do anything. That's the thing.
Absolutely, and if anybody's struggling out there, it's like it's not gonna last forever. It seems like forever when you're in it, and I get it. And at the end of the day, it's like the only thing that's going to change is, like, nothing's going to change if you don't change what you do.
Right.
If you take the same actions, you're going to get the same results. So if you're struggling, like, that sucks. I get it. And on top of that, you have to take the set of actions that you need to take to get better. And that's the only thing that's going to get you
You
better.
need to have a plan of what you want to do. And like, this is also another thing that I think a lot of people need to start doing more is like be organized. Like if you're going to be busy and have a lot of things you want to do on your plate, you don't want to overload yourself. So having a calendar, scheduling things out, dedicating time to work, to studying, to like extracurriculars, to rest, enjoyment, all that stuff is important. So if you're organized, you can do a lot of different things. And people don't realize, like, if you like have a proper schedule for everything, like, you'll realize how much time you can like maximize and make it more efficient and all that type of stuff. And you can like, it doesn't feel overloaded. You don't feel overloaded. You don't feel stressed out all the time. And it's like, it makes things more manageable.
Yeah, like be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you'd be amazed how productive you can be when it really comes down to crunch time. Like, oh my God, especially in those later stages of, my undergraduate degree when I was teaching and I was doing the investment club and the project, like it was just full throttle. And like you said, the only way to do that was to be organized,
Yeah, and this is something that you may not think about at the beginning. It's like this is something you have to like build up to as well. It's not like you may not be like the most efficient organizer in the beginning of your college years, but like you're going to learn afterwards. So the whole point of being in college is that you learn how to like be a better person, manage your time better, do what you want to do, learn how to seek the things that you want to do, and like build up your skills, not just academic and like knowledge, but like all the other skills that you need to like do a job or like enjoy life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a learning process, and just do what works for you. My process might not work as well for you, and your process might not work as well for me, and
exactly,
and that's okay. Like figure out what works best for you, and tailor it to your lifestyle, and build it in a way that's sustainable and successful and productive, and then extrapolate that, and you'll be successful.
Yeah, but being proactive is the important part because it's because you want to be able to forge your own path. You don't want to like, nobody's going to tell you what path you're going to do. That's the thing, because nobody knows anything about you other than yourself. So like, this is something that you'll have to figure out. And again, a lot of this comes to making mistakes.
Absolutely, and it's okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's just what you learn from it. If you don't learn anything from it, then there's a problem. But like, a mistake is usually a very good way to like know and like rectify something that's going wrong. Like if you're not making, if the path you're taking is like wrong, and you're not like get to a point where something critical happens, like you might stick to the wrong paths, but something's going to happen that's going to trip it all up. So then that's a good point to do a course correction.
Exactly, and if you use that to adjust your behavior in the future, then it's not really a loss, it's a lesson.
Yeah, exactly. And those are the lessons that you remember more, or the ones that came from mistakes.
Exactly. Well, hopefully.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And just on this topic, I just want to say, like, it's always good to schedule time, for your mental health and your physical health. Like a lot of people get so caught up in their work and their studies and their academics that they neglect their mind and their physical health. And this is going to be my presentation, and I think I'm just bringing it up because it's more of a reminder to myself than anything else. But it's always important and a good time. It's always a good investment to invest in your mental health and your physical health, right? Like, say you're going to spend 2 hours and $10 watching a new movie that you really were looking forward to. It's like, do it. If you want to, spend more money on eating better food, do it. Like, or if you want to get a good book, or go explore a park or whatever it is. It's like, if it makes you feel better and it improves your life, then that's okay too. And that's important to keep in mind as well, especially in college when things get really busy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like, personally, I'm not the greatest example of this, because at least when you're like TAing for a bunch of different classes, like you will have times where you have students like constantly like emailing you, asking for help on things. Like I've recently had an email from a student who was not even in my class, And I was like, I guess that was just the brain that I left. But like, you need to like set some sort of boundaries, like a work-life balance type thing. Because you don't want to overload yourself. And I think that can happen if you don't set some strong boundaries from the beginning. So that is something I definitely learned from this. Is that whatever I do going forward, I need to set some boundaries just for my mental health's sake.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's something that I gotta work on too. But eventually, you just gotta draw your line in the sand. You know, like it's a good thing to be, you know, to an extent, of course. It's a good thing to be obsessed with what you do and really passionate about it. You know, just I think that it can lose some of its fun if it's just what you do and think of 24/7. If it's, you know, your entire life and your entire being, then, you know, that can get exhausting after a while. So it's always good to segregate time to like talk to a friend or, you know, just do other things.
Right, and you don't want to burn yourself out that quickly either.
Exactly. It's like, you want to hop on Fortnite, get a victory royale, like, go for it, you know, or you want to watch a movie or go out for a night, like, yeah, do it. I mean, because what I find is that, like, you know, there almost gets to be a point where you work so hard that it becomes counterproductive. Like, there's kind of like a tipping point, you know? And if you continue past that tipping point, then you're actually going to, like, regress your progress. So what I've found works for me is, like, work as hard as I can, you know, get to, like, peak quality, and then don't overdo it. And then if I find myself, like, slipping or, like, you know, regressing, then I would go on and do something, you know, fun.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, work is there to, like, here's an example, like, so you're working at a job and stuff. The point is that you want to do good work there, make money, but you want to also enjoy your life as well. Your life is also like, you have to enjoy it as well. It's not like constant work for somebody and like just make money. Like, sure, you have a bunch of money and stuff, and when you retire, you didn't do anything fun. Like, what is the point of that as well?
Yeah, it's like you work to live, you don't live to work.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you always want to put your best foot forward, and people do enjoy their jobs as well, but you also like want to do other things, like, I don't know, have a family. That's something important as well. Like, enjoy life, take trips, all that type of stuff. That stuff, like, you need to dedicate time for that as well, and that's an important thing to dedicate time to.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a balance. You know, balance is something I've struggled a lot with, and that, you know, throughout my time working with career coaches, that seems to be the main point that I struggle with. It's like, I'm either like 100% working or like 100% fun, and like even today I have a hard time.
It's kind of a hard thing to do even among engineers as well. It's like,
oh my god,
they have a very hard time trying to find some balance.
Dude, we are full set like, in one direction or the other. Yeah, we get very locked in for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, I feel like that's a good quality to have. Yeah, that's like one of my defining characteristics. Another point I wanted to bring up in the presentation is that, you know, my career coach, she encouraged me to take a strengths test, and I found that interesting because it taught me kind of like what I'm good at or what I might not be aware that I'm very good at. And she actually had me take it twice because apparently your strengths can change as time goes on, right? And I noticed that industriousness, diligence, and perseverance was my top strength both times. You know? Yeah. And the other ones kind of got rearranged. It was like the same ones in the top 10, but like, I don't know. I found that interesting. It's like, oh, so my ability to go the distance is my top strength, you know? And I found that interesting. What do you think some of your strengths are?
I feel like persistence is definitely one, because like, I don't like to just give up on doing something that I really want to do. That's the thing. I'll try to fight for it as long as I can. So that is something that I'm pretty persistent with. Like for example, like for my master's program, I'm doing it a little bit differently than how you're doing it. This is a part of a 4+1 program, which is something that I think I'm the only student in the chemistry department at UF who has done the 4+1 in like several years.
Really?
Yeah, that's surprising. Nobody really does this program anymore.
And how does that differ from a traditional path?
So you get to do some master's classes in your senior year of college, of your undergrad, and then you'll just need to take one more year to do your master's instead of 2 years.
Oh, I see.
So it helps combine it a little bit. So which is pretty nice as well, especially since I like keep progressing. But there's a lot of different things I have to do. I've been very persistent with both the advisors as well as with the overall UF grad school as well, in terms of like transferring courses, doing petitions and stuff. And I feel like a lot of times, like a lot of these processes, like they're designed in a way to just discourage you from doing it. Like you make the bureaucracy and the paperwork so hard and so convoluted that like you would just want to give up. That's how like redeeming insurance claims and like warranty claims work as well. They're designed to discourage you, but like you have to be persistent here. Like once you get to a point where it's like, the thing is like, no matter, if you don't get the response you want from one person, go talk to someone else. Just keep escalating it. And like at one point you'll probably get to someone like that could either give you a definitive like no, and it's like no chance like you can appeal that, or you'll get someone like that can understand what's going on. Because the thing is like a lot of policies out there, they're just like a set rule for like to work for everyone. But the thing is like once you get to like a point where you could talk to someone that could look at the rationale behind what you want to do, people are rational. There are a lot of people that think rationally. Like they'll see like if it's a rational idea, they'll help and support you. Oh, yeah. Which is something that I found in this department that they were pretty helpful with. But yeah, you have to like fight for it because it's not designed like that.
Yeah, and eventually you'll reach somebody who actually sees the value in your idea. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes you might have to go through like 10 or 15 people who don't realize like the value in what you're trying to say, and then by the time you get to that one person who does, it's like you've already gotten the reps in and you've already realized like how to explain this, and then that's when it really takes off.
Yeah, exactly. And then the process, there have been a lot of mistakes made in this process as well, and there's a lot of things that like I didn't really know about, and even the department didn't know about, and we were all learning. But now we have basically this process made, so if anyone else is doing a 4+1 at UF, it hopefully should go much smoother now.
Absolutely, yeah. And these, in a lot of things in life, there seems to be kind of like a hurdle that you have to get over. Like, for example, in the or in a lot of majors, like organic chemistry seems to be that hurdle for a lot of people. And it just seems like, like you said, it kind of like discourages you from getting over these hurdles. But a lot of the time, it's like maybe like 40-50% of people won't go over that hurdle, but once you get over that hurdle, it's kind of smooth sailing, or smoother than you would expect.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna have I would say Orgo is definitely a big hurdle for chemical engineers. In terms of our major classes, I mean MEB is there, but I think that's like an initial filter that we have for a lot of students. Like they think, oh, chemical engineering is cool and stuff, and then we have MEB is like, maybe I'm not interested in this. That's like, there's no problem there as well, because it's like the first class and you're not really too committed. Transport, I would say, can be a hurdle for a lot of people.
Bro, that is the hurdle.
Especially because then we add the math.
Oh my god, dude! At the master's level, that is.
That's a whole story.
Bro, tell me about it. Oh my god, that is the gate of getting this degree or not, is master's level transport phenomenon. And thank God I took it with Dr. Tomadakis during my undergraduate degree, because that is probably the reason I'll end up getting this degree, was taking it with him. And yeah, it is exceptionally different.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about here. I took it with Dr. Buckler at UF, and personally, this is not what a lot of people are going to think, but I kind of liked his teaching style. But I think it's all contingent on how do we feel in doing math, and like how do we do math. Like the way that I was doing math is similar to how he does math. I like to think of it as like a problem, do it very structurally, and I can see like how I can sort of like feel the numbers, how it works like that. I can like see like if you modify the problem like this, it changes like that. I can understand what happens with different conditions. If you can't visualize what your transport problem is and what's going on, then it's really hard, because you want to take something that is on a microscopic level and then make it something that you can understand and visualize. If you can't visualize it, then it's pointless. Like if you're just basically memorizing equations at that point.
Yeah, and fundamentally you have to be able to understand and articulate all of the forces that are at play within this chemical engineering system.
Yeah.
And model that mathematically.
And the thing is, like, once you understand it, like, for a course like that, it's pretty doable. Like, that's the difference between, like, passing the course or, like, even doing fairly well and getting an A versus not passing it, is just understanding it. It's one thing, like, just, like, go practice a bunch of practice exams and problems and stuff. It's another thing of trying to understand. Like, I didn't devote my time to like just doing a bunch of practice exam problems. I've devoted my time to understanding the material, reading the textbook, glazing all the information on that, understanding the notes, draw my own figures and diagrams, try to relate the equations and what each term means to the different parts of a transport equation, and try to understand the math and the physics behind it. If you understand that, you can do any type of problem.
For real. Yeah. If you unlock the ability to do that, then I feel like that's when we become versatile as engineers. You know?
Oh yeah, when you can do that, that's when your skills multiply. Like, it's one thing to just follow some set instructions and like pass a course and stuff. It's another thing of trying to understand it, because then you have the ability to change things. Like, you'll have some valuable input in a company or a research group or whatever you're doing.
And that's what I kind of like about the master's program, is that it demands a certain level of understanding, you know?
Oh yeah, you have to come in here with some sort of fundamentals. Like, even like, for example, if you come in with a chemistry background, like, we expect you to like take transport, like the undergrad transport, before you take the grad transport, because we want you to have the fundamentals and the rigor and stamina of what we're doing in our curriculum. If you're coming from other majors that don't require a lot of math, we expect you to take math up to at least differential equations, because otherwise you're going to struggle based on how much math that we have in our program.
Yeah, there's a lot of applied differential equations in ours. Yeah. I think it's kind of cool how you can actually use differential equations to demonstrate the propagation of these chemical engineering systems.
Yeah, it's like a model. It's like, calculus is a very good tool to model complex problems, equations, and all sort of different systems, because like I said from the beginning, it's all about doing a balance, like an energy or mass balance, and that is something you can do in calculus. You can relate things based off of changes in time, changes in some sort of position or change or mass or temperature or whatever, as a function of whatever parameters that you have.
Exactly. It's like you can compare one parameter to like any other parameter.
If you understand how the equations are made based off of, like, let's say I want to make an equation, if I have accumulation of one product here, I can equate that to our streams that are going in the system, plus some sort of generation and stuff. So if I understand how terms work and like what I add in and take out of a system, I can theoretically make my own models. Like, I can like have terms here related to maybe some sort of accumulation or whatever, or internal energy or whatever I want to do, and I can add these terms correspond to whatever systems that I have, and then I can solve for them. Like, maybe I might create some model, like, it might not be an accurate model, it could be pretty close. I might want to do like computer model and simulations to like get some accurate parameters, but I have the ability to make a model from scratch, which is something that it's a very useful skill to have. You can't have AI or like compute or like just a computer formula, just make that stuff on your own. You need to bring all the theory and stuff in, but you can have the computers solve for the models itself.
Exactly. It's like you need to know the fundamentals to be able to give to the program.
It's just a tool. At the end of the day, you still have. I feel like with chemical engineering, like, we're still needed to understand how things work
and to interpret these things.
Yes.
You know, because it's one thing to have numbers on a page; it's another thing to know what they mean.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know, and yeah, that's something that these degrees have really prepared us well for, is to just be able to understand these things at a fundamental level.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons that I chose chemistry, was because like these concepts I could grasp them. You know, it seemed like, you know, if you have like a water molecule, it's pretty intuitive to be like, okay, you got an oxygen and 2 hydrogens, like, or a methane is like a carbon and then 4 hydrogens, and then, you know, you get to concentration and it's like, okay, how many of these do you have per unit volume? And, you know, it was intuitive, right? And if anybody out there is considering going to college or changing your majors, I just encourage you to ask yourself, what do you find intuitive? You know, like, what is easy for you particularly to grasp? You know, and if it is, then you'll probably do well at it.
Or what if it's not interesting, but what you enjoy doing, or what you think that you can make a real world impact in? Think about it from that angle as well. And where do you think that you can have any sort of benefit as well?
Exactly. Like exactly. What can provide a good value to the economy?
Like engineering, that's a pretty good value as well. I mean, to be fair, there are going to be some majors, so like I honestly don't think we're going to have a lot of value. But like engineering is a good one. That we need engineers. We have a lot of different industries out there. Something that generally is in need.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, any job is really just kind of like solving a problem.
Exactly.
You know? And engineering just kind of takes that to a whole new level. But yeah, I mean, just try to find what problems you're good at solving. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so what made you choose this major?
I think it's more due to like the problem solving aspects. Like I like chemistry, like when I was in public school, but like I felt like I want to do more with it. I want to solve problems. I like tinkering with stuff, and I feel like chemical engineering is stuff that is a major that I can use to like do problem solving. Plus, it's a very versatile major. It has a lot of different impacts in different industries and stuff. It's not like I'm pigeonholing myself into one industry or going into an industry that may can get automated away. Like computer science, for example, like it's just mostly just coding and stuff. It's like and like doing software, like that type of stuff. Like it's making the AI, but the AI could probably just replace those jobs as well. And even despite whatever the popularity is, meanwhile, I feel like with chemical engineering, like you can work in the oil and gas industry, you can work in like the semiconductor or tech industry, pharmaceuticals,
agriculture,
food processing, you name it.
Yep, cosmetics. I mean, all sorts of formulations. I mean, yeah, and this is something that I've heard. That I've heard online is that like AI is going to have a very hard time performing jobs in which you move atoms. In which you actually move molecules and actually have some sort of physical effect on the world. And I mean, chemical engineering is literally moving atoms to perform a function.
However, there are AI. I think a lot of AIs have realized this. AI developers have realized this. So now what they're trying to do is, at least with some AIs out there, I forget what the name of this one is called, but they basically it's an AI that's used to for example, if you're doing problems or doing some sort of modeling, let's say on a computer, and you're typing information into it. It's going to try to learn what you're typing and what you're doing, so then it can use that to train its own model. So it's basically taking your information and your knowledge and trying to train it based off of that. So train it from the expert rather than trying to just collect an amalgamation of literature sources and internal models that it has.
Dude, the rabbit hole just keeps going.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, have you heard of Moltbook?
I haven't heard of that one.
Have you heard of OpenClaw?
Yeah.
You heard of OpenClaw? Bro, this is insane. Apparently, I listened to the podcast of the guy who did this, Mr. Sweeney, I think. He literally developed some sort of way to run an AI locally on a device, and so these people were basically uploading all of these different AIs, and these AIs basically made a complete Reddit just all comprised of AI agents, and they have all these little discussions and stuff, and it's insane. They have their own economies and stuff. They have a whole religion. It's wild, dude.
Religion? What the hell?
I swear to God, it's called Crustafarianism, where it's a claw, and they have all these scriptures. It's wild, dude.
The fact that a robot made that is just...
I mean, it's a lot of them. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I was so curious about this one day that I was so close to downloading one of these agents onto my computer. I was one line away. I had it in the terminal. I was about to click enter, and I was maybe I should wait until they patch the security issues. But, yeah, but I was...
Because where do you think they're getting their information from? Where do you think they're training their models with? It's your information.
All our stuff, yeah. So
the fact that it made a religion is just crazy. I feel like that's the point where it's way too advanced.
It's getting nuts, dude. They have their own economies getting set up and whatnot. It's wild.
Because I think that's the point where it goes from we're making a computer, a program is it's only as smart as what the user puts into it and how they make it. And then this is it's starting to think on its own.
Yeah, and it's kind of 8 together strong sort of thing. It's maybe one thing isn't able to taking over the world, but it's what if you get a gajillion of these little guys all working together on one project, and then it just accelerates.
Yeah, it's the way that AI models work is you have the nodes and the levels and all that sort of stuff, and that's it's like building different nodes. Like that's how like the human brain works. Like when you build new connections, when you learn stuff between your neurons, and like it's basically doing the same thing there. So it's basically like analogous to like how a human brain works.
It's completely like digitizing a mind, and I just want to say, while we're on the topic, it's like it is very important to learn how to use AI right now. Because if you don't learn how to use AI and you get out into the real world, you're gonna be outcompeted by the people who do know how to use AI. So,
and that's the unfortunate reality that we live in.
Like that is just facts. Like even here on campus, like everyone's using AI. I mean, regardless of whatever policy you want to set, everybody's using it to some degree. It is what it is. Okay.
And working as an instructor for a lot of these courses, like, let me tell you, that I have a feeling like that is like also helping bring down the scores and like understanding of people, because like it's one thing like I noticed like there's an interesting trend I'm noticing, like a lot of the homeworks they're doing really well on them, but then again they have the opportunity to use AI, and then when they get to the exams they don't do that well on them. So what could be the reason?
There you go.
Exactly.
There you have it.
And it's like hard to like fight it, and then at the same time we also want to teach them how to use it responsibly, because if we don't, then they're gonna struggle to like do it, like find a job. Like even then, like a lot of job interviews and job questions, like resumes, like they look for like resumes that probably went through AI bots, because if you don't do that, like your resume is just you're not gonna look for the stuff that they want.
Exactly. And that's another thing. Like they're allowed to use AI to review our resume, but then they tell us not to use AI. So it's like, oh, so you can use it, but we can't.
Yeah, and then if you go to a lot of these companies as well, like a lot of coding assignments, like they basically just say like, yeah, just use AI to like do it. Like, okay, you don't actually have to learn it. Like learn how to code or whatever. Like this is crazy.
Right. It's like the Twilight Zone, and just saying, like just one of the most useful ways that I've seen to use it is to upload the same project into multiple different AIs to get different perspectives on the same problem, So like I'll try to work through it with like different models. Like I have one, like for example, like for one class, let's say design of experiments, for example. I have a project in Grok, I have a project in Claude, I have a project in OpenAI's ChatGPT, and then I mostly use Grok like to start learning it, and then I'll debug with Claude, and then I'll just have basic questions for ChatGPT, and then I basically use all of these to form my answers. And I feel like that's the way to get after it, because you have to learn how to automate these systems. Like fundamentally, like like we said earlier, it's like your job, whatever your job is to perform some sort of function. And if you can automate that function with AI, and you can actually learn how to do it faster and more effectively, more consistently than everybody else, like you are gonna just completely stampede the competition, because if you unlock the ability to do that in a way that nobody else has figured out yet, like you have a competitive advantage that is just off the charts.
Yeah, and that's something that's happening now. Like personally, for me, it's a little bit different. Like whenever I do coding, I just do it without using AI, or like solving stuff. I don't use AI for that, because I have bad experiences when trying to get any useful stuff out of it. So I try to just do it by hand. Usually, like, I guess it just helps more with your mental, like building up your mental skills as well. But I do realize, like with AI as well, like it can be a useful tool to some degree. Like if I use AI, I use it in like very little moderation. But like a lot of times, like I feel like it's not a good tool to use when you have trying to get students to learn something, because the thing we realize now is that there's one thing if you're responsible and you're using it as like a tool to learn something new, or you understand the limitations of it. You should not be using it to like learn the material yourself, or like trying to like create some sort of foundation. And because what happens is that you can just ask for the answers, and you're not going to understand why you did that.
Yeah, and it's all about how you use it, like any other powerful technology. And I think it should not be a replacement for critical thinking.
Exactly.
Because
that's the one thing that AI still can't do.
Exactly. And if it is, then at least know what the thought process is going into it.
So let me just ask you, what do you think is the one thing that's like, if AI is going to take over the world, what is the one thing that AI needs to do that it doesn't do right now?
That's a very good question. Work together, on one project. I think I think if they all focus their energy onto like one project or one AI or whatever you want to call it, like I think that's going to be what is uncontrollable to some degree because like any other person, I mean, I think each of them can have their own strengths and be good at like one different function, and it's like on their own they're not that strong, but it's like if they all work together on one thing and contribute to this one project, I think that's
like we're humans. We have critical thinking. We don't even prompt it to do things, and also we have a degree of uncertainty as well. It's not predictable. If you add some unpredictability to AI as well, that's where it gets dangerous.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it's quite unpredictable. I mean, yeah, dude, I listened to XAI's speech the other day about the state of AI. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
Oh my god, dude. Elon Musk literally said, like, we're talking about the ability to automate entire companies, and it's like not that far off, and it's just incredible the power that it has right now. And
yeah, I heard something from Elon Musk. He was saying like, oh, in the future, like nobody will need to work a job.
Yeah.
Like that's like no point in saving for time. Like I find that crazy.
Yeah, and money will be obsolete.
Like at that point, like
wow.
Where do we make it? Where do we draw the line? That's the thing.
Yeah, and where do we derive meaning?
Yeah, because like the point is like if we don't have any function or meaning, like what's the point of us being here anyway?
Yeah, it gets existential.
Yeah, it's like and then the thing is the job market is the only way that we can distinguish ourselves from the people. Like if everyone had the same thing, we don't have enough resources to give everyone the same quality of life. So like how if nobody does not need to work, how do we like?
Does everyone get everything?
But how does that? But last time I checked, that doesn't work.
But that was without robots. Now we got robots to do
robot communism.
Robot communism. I'm here for it. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's.
I mean, it could be fun. See what?
It could be fun to see the destruction of everything.
I mean, yeah, it's extremely unpredictable. What I think is cool about our generation, specifically like where you and I are at in our education, is that we had the benefit of going through pretty much our whole undergraduate degree without AI.
Oh yeah, that's true. It really started coming out like I think maybe my senior year.
Yeah,
like it started coming out there. But like when I came to college, it's like
it was nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't even exist. It wasn't even a conversation. I mean, it was.
I mean, to be fair, I think we went through a lot of technological phases. Like when we were in like, for example, like kindergarten, like the phone wasn't really a thing. But it's like I think like when we were in like our senior year of high school, like I think that's when like TikTok started becoming a thing.
Yeah, and then Snapchat got really big around like middle school, high school.
Yeah, and then Facebook was like when we were like still in elementary school.
Yeah, that was like the first social media.
MySpace, I don't know what the hell that was.
Oh, that was like that was before my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Like we went through like a few different like technological innovations. I mean, not to mention the gaming systems and the.
Oh, I think like when we were like freshmen, that's when like VR, like virtual reality, that's really took off. Like before, virtual reality was like okay, it was like a very like buggy like big game. Like but now we got like meta glasses and stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, like before it was like when I thought of virtual reality, I thought of like the Oculus Rift. You connect your computer, you can play a video game with it. But like now it's like you can like Apple, like their Vision Pro glasses, you can simulate an entire computer on that.
Really?
Yeah, it's like have you seen those things? It's like they're basically like a MacBook within like a VR headset.
That's insane.
Like you have like a desktop. Like I can like have my window open here. I can like have like I think it like they've laid out in like a room type setting. So like you can have this window here. You can like turn around behind you. Could be another window. It's like it's a crazy experience. I don't know if you go to like an Apple store, you can like test those things out. They're pretty cool.
That's nuts, dude. I remember playing Beat Saber. You know?
Oh yeah, that game.
Oh, that's so fun, dude. Like all the it's just a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a good point though. I mean, I was thinking more along the lines of like the Wii and the Xbox, but that too.
That was my game. Like honestly, like personally, like funny. You want to know what my first computer was? It was this old used Windows XP laptop. The screen hinge was like falling apart. It was like so floppy, it was held on by tape. But I learned so much on it. I just like it barely connected to the. I don't think the internet worked on it. So I was like exploring every little thing. I played the Windows XP games.
Oh yeah.
The arcade games. It was so much fun. So it's like I learned everything about the computer without Wi-Fi. It's like that's basically my type of thing. And then we also had this like old Windows Vista laptop. Like I know Windows Vista is garbage, but
It worked for the time.
like Purple Castle, like that was like probably the best game that only redeeming quality that Windows Vista had. Everything else was a complete crap. But
I remember they had a Snake game, I think.
oh yeah,
Tetris.
hmm
Yep. They had like a little Pac-Man game on there.
it's nice when you had these games like without the time before like ads and like you have to pay for games. So like
Yeah.
the fact, why can't they do that anymore?
Bro,
Like,
there's no microtransactions in Solitaire.
yeah, exactly. And there's no ads in Purple
That is
Purple
true.
Palace.
It's not a single ad in that game.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that's when my progression. So like, Windows 7 is like more for like professional use and Windows 10 and all that stuff. But the point is like, I started off with like these basic technologies, like older technologies, and I feel like you gain a little bit more appreciation like how computers work and stuff. Like you'll be surprised, like there are a lot of people out here now like who never really used a laptop. Like engineering, you have to use a laptop, but then the first device that they ever used was a cell phone. So like people don't understand like how file management works.
It's like they don't quite.
It's funny like taking for a computer model formulation class because you have to do coding. And like I have students who are like, where I can't find this file I saved. They're like, where did you save it? And they're like, I don't know. And like, okay, well, can you navigate to the desktop? And like, okay. So then like understanding file directories. That's kind of a very basic skill you need to know about a computer.
Yeah, that is a good point. And maintaining the organization of your digital environment.
Yeah.
too.
But I guess if AI is going to take over the world, then what's the point of learning anything now?
It's still good to know. We can still critical think.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
We don't need to be in a vegetated state right now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, having organization of your digital environment, that's like a whole skill in and of itself. I mean, even now, it's like I really have to be careful about like what information I allow on my phone. Like,
Oh yeah, it's all privacy intrusive. Like with older
Yeah, dude.
computers and stuff, it's like with Windows XP, like what is that gonna? It's not gonna take any of your information.
yeah,
Unless you install like Bonsai Buddy or whatever that like we all thought that was like the worst form of spyware, but then like that's nothing. At least they taught kids how to read. It had some benefits. Like
Yeah.
none of these spywares on these computers have any benefits.
yeah, they're just trying to take your stuff, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, everybody wants all my data. It's like, come on, like, can I just have my stuff? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you really need all my contacts?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's one thing. Like I think they're advertising it in a way of like convenience, but it's like how much convenience do you really need? Like does convenience really need to come at the cost of like accessing your contacts, your phone calls, your search history, your all of your stuff, pictures, all that stuff, just to create like a personalized profile for you?
Is that really
Do you
necessary?
really need that? Nah.
It's like, come
I just need my phone to just like make calls, like maybe check emails and stuff like that.
For real. You know, on this note, there are actually some technologies that are coming out to actually like combat this phenomena. You know, I remember Sean Ryan, who's a very prolific podcaster right now. I just remember him talking about these phones that are like completely off the grid, like not connected to Google.
Oh,
not
I heard of that.
connected to any clouds, and it's like there's just more and more of a demand for that now because people are like, you know, they want their privacy.
Yeah, I mean the thing is like people they're not gonna just like sit by and let like AI and like big tech and like all of them like try to take our data, privacy, and like try to make us obsolete. Like
Yeah.
people will fight that. It's not like people want to be useless.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Or used.
Used. That's a better word. Yeah, we're being used.
You know, it's like for these nefarious, profitable purposes. I mean, and additionally, I mean, just on the topic of games, Palmer Luckey, who owns like one of the biggest like AI defense companies in the world right now, he's eccentric. He's quite the guy. But anyway, one of his first huge products, at least from what I've researched, is that one of the first products that he made was an actual device that was made to be like a what's the word? Not a contribution, but like not a shrine. It's meant to be like an upgraded Game Boy, you know? And so it's like this off-the-grid Game Boy just with the little cartridges, and it's like there's no ads, microtransactions, you just put the game in and it works, and it's like yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, now like you can't even like buy games. You have to buy subscriptions now.
Yeah.
And like for like even like Microsoft, for example, like before you could buy like pay like $100, $200, you can get all of Microsoft Office. Now you gotta pay like every like year like $50 or so. It's like to even have it, like, this is crazy.
For real.
And like storage, like you got to pay storage to save it on the OneDrive. Like, you ever heard of hard drives?
Yeah.
Because I don't use OneDrive unless I have to, like, for like school purposes. But like I save all my data on, like, I bought like 5 terabytes of hard drives that I put my data on. Like, that's enough for my computer. That lasts longer than my computer I wanted to. And even if I fill it up, that's probably about the time to upgrade.
Dude, 5 terabytes, that'll outlast all your computers. That's so much data.
But then you can put games on it as well.
That is true.
Games are like 20, 30 gigabytes per game. Like, that's
what I did for my PlayStation. I just got an external hard drive and put it right on there.
And like, honestly, I think I built my second computer, and the one thing I did differently was I think I bought an NVMe SSD, 4 terabyte NVMe SSD, because like the prices have gone down when I built my computer. So it's like, it became pretty affordable, and it became a good reason to like just I can have one hard drive with my operating system, because with my last computer I separated the operating system onto one SSD and then I had just hard drives to store my data. But like, if the price for an NVMe SSD for that much storage is like, it's not that bad, then might as well just put it there.
And make it yourself.
Yeah.
So did you build a lot of computers?
I built 2 computers. So I had one computer built in 2017. I upgraded that because it has to do with Microsoft, because the Windows 10 is going to lose security updates last year. So I'm like, yeah, it's probably about time to upgrade it. But then when I was at Intel, they gave me a 50% discount on processors. So I was able to get like an i9 processor for the price of an i5 offer of Amazon.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay, if I can do that, I might as well just build the rest of the computer. So, although now I have to deal with the unfortunate realities of Windows 11 and its bugginess and all that stuff, but all because Microsoft doesn't want to support Windows 10 because of the security updates. And who knows what's going on outside all these security threats. Like, dude, have you ever seen, like, on your phone, like, these, like, texts that we're getting, like, the scam texts and all that stuff? Like, it's crazy how much it's more prolific now than it was, like, a couple of years ago. So being, like, safe online, even if you're not online, like, it somehow can get into your computer. So, like, that's one thing that you probably need to be concerned about. It's probably one reason, like, I want to use Windows XP now, because of that reason. But, like, yeah, so I built I built 2 computers. I mean, the first one I built was pretty nice. Like, honestly, I don't know why Microsoft just stopped supporting Windows 10. Like, and also I couldn't upgrade that computer to Windows 11 because of hardware specifications. But like, it can run like Windows 10 perfectly fine. It can run Windows 11 perfectly fine as well. Like, it's not like a very slow computer at all. It's a pretty fast computer. So I think it's just all arbitrary. It's just a way to make money.
You know, it reminds me of what Apple was doing not too long ago.
Oh, they're furious at this.
Dude, how they were updating or putting all these software updates that would like kill your battery, you know? That is like the reason that I won't buy Apple products, is because like that just shows like untrustworthiness, or like it just shows like extortion. It's like, how dare you like purposefully put something onto my device which makes it less useful, you know? And you know, just so you can profit off of me buying like the newest version when I don't really want to. Like, this is a big reason I only buy Samsung stuff. It's because Samsung has never done that to me. You know, so like, respect.
Yeah. Personally, like, I like the interface of an Apple product, but like, I understand what you mean. Like, the products that I have, I try to make them work. Like, I don't think I've updated my iPad for like, I think it's still like iOS like, what is like 16 or 15 or whatever. Now it's like 26 or something. I know they jumped the numbers, but like, I didn't upgrade it because I didn't want to like deal with the new designs and stuff, and I feel like that's just going to slow it down.
Exactly, and that's what like everybody's saying.
And the thing is, like, Apple products. My first Apple product, honestly, was an iPad 2, like from 2011.
Oh, classic.
It's a classic. It still works. That's the thing. The quality of their products back in the day, they were good. It's just now it's like, first of all, the iPads are not flimsy. I had to put a case on it just to make sure my new iPad doesn't break. I use it because it's a good tool to take notes. But other than that, it's like, yeah, it's basically just extortion of money.
Exactly. You know, I think it was really cool what Steve Jobs did. You know, like, I really like Steve Jobs.
He had a vision.
Yeah, that's the thing. He had the vision, and he had the, you know, he had the discipline to go the distance.
Even after getting kicked out of his own company in the 90s, he still came back after, like, I don't know what direction they went on, but like he understood, like, Apple is a unique company. They are going to have a unique product, and the goal is to have a quality product. I feel like now it's just making money.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly the point that I was thinking of. It's like he had the vision, he had the drive, he had the ambition. I know he was very controversial. He wasn't the nicest guy. You know, at the end of the day, he was a super successful entrepreneur, and like at face value, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he built like one of the largest companies in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And he ushered in the age of the phone, really.
Oh yeah, without him, it's like we wouldn't really have like the smartphone, or like what we would think the smartphone would be.
Yeah.
So all the other companies basically just followed what Apple was doing.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they really led the charge. I mean, remember the old Blackberries and Nokias? You know,
those things were reliable.
Bro, they were
like
rugged.
Nokia bricks, like those things, like
oh my god, they're eternal. Dude, I still remember being on like the bus going to these little like summer camps in Colombia, and my dad would give me one of those Nokia phones, and it was like pre-downloaded with like the Colombian CIA, the general, colonels, like the cops, like everybody. And I was like, oh man, I hope I don't accidentally like speed dial the general. But I was
that would be a cool story if you had it too.
Yeah, I used to just play like Snake on it or whatever, but yeah, it was like a brick. I mean, the thing lasted. It was great.
But the funny thing is, this new generation of, what is this now, Gen Alpha? Actually, now, if like our generation as kids, it's going to be Gen Beta.
Oh my god.
The fact that I think
we went from Z to Alpha? Is that how that works?
I think we recycled from the alphabet, and I think now we're entering Beta.
Oh no, not the betas.
I mean, Alpha is already a special generation, let's just call it that. But the fact is, they're like, what is their technology going to be? AI, humanoid robots, VR?
Yeah, it's going to be nuts. Or even my nephews. I mean, my little nephew's about to turn 10. It's like, what is he?
That's why here's a good solution to, at least, let's not think too much about Gen Beta, because that's already depressing enough. Let's think about Gen Alpha, which is slightly less depressing. We'll see. But like, the one thing I would recommend for them is, don't give your kid an iPad or a phone just to shut them up.
For real.
Because like you know how many kids you see outside, like they just like parents, they don't want to deal with like a crying kid, so like you just give them a phone, and then what happens is like the kid's gonna ask for your phone and just gonna watch videos and stuff and like play games or whatever. It's like, all right.
Dude, I catch my other nephew playing the ads all the time. I'm like, you're not even playing the game, you're playing the ads for the game. Like,
oh, those ads are terrible.
Like, what is the world coming to? For real.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, give them a football.
Yeah, like, or make them just like run outside, do whatever, play tag.
Yeah, play.
Well, kids even know what tag is, hide and seek.
For real. Manhunt, yeah, like hopscotch.
Capture the flag. Oh, those are fun games.
Dude, dodgeball.
Dodgeball, yeah.
Dude, I was ruthless when Capture the Flag.
Foursquare.
There's so many made-up rules in Foursquare. Everybody started making them.
But that's the point. It's like it's like you're having fun.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's fun. It's outside.
Like when we have like when we have kids that like go outside, like just want to like play, enjoy, like hang out with friends, like not get distracted with phones and stuff. Like I think that's the time. Like they should not have any technology at that time, because then it helps them build their physical skills, motor skills, mental skills, and all that
social skills.
Social skills.
Yeah.
They don't end up starting to rewrite the English language and make up their own terms and stuff that just sounds completely stupid.
For real. Yeah, and they, it's good for them to be in touch with this technology. Of course, it's just like to
responsibly.
Yeah, just don't oversaturate their lives with it,
and also know what they're watching.
Yeah,
there's a lot of crap out there,
and what they have access to, and it's like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even for me, it's like it seemed like nobody was really like outside and playing games or it seemed like the only thing left to do was to be online and play games because there was no like alternative.
Yeah, I mean, like when I lived in Iowa, like we had a backyard, like a swing set, just go play on that, just run around, or do make believe, like play make believe settings, like pretend you're this or that, and like just like I don't think kids will do that, because with make believe, like you have to have an imagination and think.
That's the thing. That is a good point. I see a lack of imagination in the world today. It's like you got to be able to imagine. You got to imagine it, envision it. And
but for some reason, these kids, they know all like the latest trends and like fashion that's going on, and like these random different trends on TikTok from people that are way outside of the age. Like they should not be knowing any of this stuff. Like, and then somehow know these trends. Like, what the hell happened here?
For real. It's like, yeah, whatever happened, just going out and just like.
Yeah, I don't want to catch a kid like talking about like skibbity toilet or like some like.
Or 6'7" or something.
6'7".
Yeah, like that.
Or yacht or whatever. Like, what the heck?
No, seriously, dude. It's like, this is
I think
not.
it's an embarrassment of what's going on in this
It's
country.
like, this is not the most important information they could be learning about, you know? And yeah, you know, like to give credit to the generation who are the parents of these children, it's like, I feel like they, you know.
Gen Alpha's parents are like millennials, I think, right?
Yeah, so I feel like they're kind of having a hard time too, because like it kind of got really popular when they were adults, so they didn't really have the opportunity to like grow up with it, so they didn't really learn the best boundaries and the best practices, you know. And now that, I mean, I think they're kind of consumed by it too, but that's all.
Oh yeah, that's a different thing too. But like for me, it's like I had technology when I was like young as well, but it's like I was told you, it's basically a bricked Windows XP laptop with no internet. So I just learned how to like use like technical stuff on computers and stuff. Like that was basically my source of entertainment. We had like a Wii where it has like
Bowling.
Mario Kart. Oh, the bowling game, that was a good one.
Oh yeah.
Do you know like it was not the Wii U, it was just the basic. You know those fitness boards that you could buy for the Wii? We had one of those. I'm sorry, it worked half the time, but it was like you could like do running on that, you could like exercise and stuff.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
that's wild, dude. I remember having to connect for the Xbox where it would track your movements. You could do like temple run and stuff, but like in your living room.
Yeah, our gaming was like kind of old. Like we had the original Xbox.
Oh.
Not the Xbox One, not the modern Xbox, the original.
Not the 360?
Not the 360.
The one before the 360?
The one before the 360.
Oh my gosh.
And when it was like, we had like a racing game on it, like a wheel, like that was honestly fun. But that's like, it's a very like controlled environment, I would say. I mean, you don't have to be old fashioned and all that type of stuff, but like having some sort of control, it's not the open internet, like I couldn't watch the open internet and stuff. Like a lot of my time, if anything, I mostly consume public television, like PBS. I didn't even have TV in my house because it was a bad influence on your learning. But like, I watched a lot of PBS. PBS Kids, like, to be fair, the quality of PBS Kids has gone down the drain. But like,
at the time, it was pretty good.
At the time, it was good. There were some classics, but even then, that doesn't exist. Now we have cheap animated shows.
Oh, for real, dude. It's like where are the good shows now? Now they're watching Cocomelon.
Oh my god,
like
Cocomelon.
Like, what is the world coming to, dude? This is nuts.
like I remember you could watch Curious George was good. Arthur was not bad.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Clifford. Like you know what they did to Clifford? They took the original Clifford, which is very good, and then they made the animations worse.
Oh no.
Now it's like no 3D. They took a 3D animated show and made it 2D.
Huh.
Like what happened? Like that's a downgrade.
It's like, where are we going down? Yeah, Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Fetch, that was good.
I was a Cartoon Network guy, so I was more into like Codename Kid Next Door, Teen Titans.
Oh, that was a good one.
Adventure Time, regular show. Yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon sometimes. But I was definitely a Cartoon Network kid.
Yeah. I would say like there was this one show I think it was called Fetch with Ruff Ruffman. It was basically like they took a bunch of kids out in like random spaces. Like they were going to like cool places. Like I think one of the shows they took them to the NASA training center in Huntsville. So they're like doing like low gravity. It was like it's all like doing challenges and like exploring and doing cool things. It's like a competitive like point game show system, all hosted by an animated dog.
Oh, that's cool.
But it was like what they did to that now is like they got rid of the kids part because like instead of like sending kids out to challenges, it's like just it's all pure animations now, and they made the animations cheaper.
Oh, what? That's not as fun though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good show. It's like it was not cringe or anything. It was like you learned some stuff.
Yeah, there seems to be a trend where like the quality of shows kind of like decreases after a certain point.
Because before it almost seemed like this didn't feel like this show was run by the government. It felt like there was some sort of quality. Now it's like, yeah, this definitely came from the government.
For real.
It's complete crap.
Well, not with the Breen Show.
Oh yeah.
You know.
We need quality.
That's what I'm saying. Only the best. You know.
No TikTok reels.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sell out. This is just uncut video. I mean, for now. I mean, I might end up doing clips and stuff later, but like.
You do clips from the video.
Yeah.
You don't make the clips just for the sake of making the clips.
Exactly. We want to start with the video.
And I feel like. Okay, you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like when a show starts out, like, there's a certain soul to it. It's like there's a certain like uniqueness, like a certain authenticity. Like there's something about it that's just like uniquely its show. Like if you ever watch like the pilot for like Rick and Morty or like Adventure Time or like regular show, it's like, you know, you see what they were going for, you know, and you see the soul of the show, and it's like sometimes that soul kind of dwindles as it goes on, and that's just not something I want to happen with the Breen show. I want it to always just be authentic and genuine in the way that I want to make it, and not for purposes, like I want to do it for the right purposes, right? I want to do it because I'm interested in people like you and future guests, and because I care about what you guys have to say. I care about sharing this knowledge with whoever's interested, and I just want to learn about people and what they have to say, and I have a lot of questions, and I'm just following my trail of curiosity, and I'm learning alongside the viewers. So I want to make this the best show that I can, and I will do so to the best of my ability.
Yeah, and I think also like this is a great way to improve people's attention spans as well, because it almost feels like people have a TikTok level attention span of like a couple of seconds.
Oh, dude, it gets shorter and shorter.
It's getting much shorter, and I think that's like this fast content. Like people need like short stimulus bursts. They cannot. But like people cannot sustain long stimuluses. Like well, these are podcasts. Like these are like a couple of hours long. Like the fact is, like I feel like if you get so deep into like a conversation, you can still like keep up your stamina with that.
Absolutely, yeah. And I feel like there's just I don't know. There's something more like rewarding about like a long conversation. You know, it's like you really get to know the person. It's like, you know, like I get this feeling of like just. It's just so fast paced these days. Like it's hard to like really connect with people because they're just switching attention like so quickly, and it's like I'm a very thoughtful, like thorough person, and it's like sometimes it takes me a second to like gather my thoughts and explain it, you know. And so I feel like with a long form conversation like this is an opportunity to like.
Hopefully, this is not a dying skill as well.
What do you mean?
I was just about to say like. The fact that people can have thoughtful conversations, be able to think critically, understand content, like analyze data and stuff like that is not just short form and like AI generated stuff like that. Like that is something like I feel like could possibly go away.
Well, not as long as I live and breathe. I will not let that happen. You know, it's like I feel like it's important. I feel like the majority of the content that I've consumed over the last couple of years has been podcasts. Like podcasts and music mostly, you know, because I just like listening to conversations. I like having conversations, and I didn't get to have a lot of conversations when I was growing up, and I want to have them now. So this is my
conversations are good. They're good. You get to learn about different people's perspectives. You get to like even you can use it to rationalize your own ideas and like it's better than just talking to yourself about it. You can like bounce it off of someone and like see if it makes sense or not.
Exactly. And you get to learn someone else's perspective that helps you kind of hone your perspective, and even if you disagree on something, like it starts to make you question, like, why do I disagree? Well, what do I actually believe? You know, and then I feel like it kind of helps you refine your character.
That's the part about being a civilized adult. We can learn to disagree, and like learn to have a conversation, and we don't have to like talk over each other.
Exactly. It's like, and we can agree to disagree, and that's okay. Or we can agree to agree, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and even my best friends, it's like we don't agree on everything, but I care about what they have to say. I value their opinion, and I'm going to listen to them, and that's okay.
Plus, it makes things interesting as well. Like you probably don't want to be around someone that like agrees with you every single thing. It's like then it becomes a little boring.
Yeah, like what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Then you end up in just like an echo chamber.
But then you get like people like they were like if you like say one thing to them like that they don't agree with, like they like say like we can't be friends, like stuff like that. Like you don't want to like deal with like people like that as well.
Exactly. That's like immature, you know. It's like there's a certain level of like emotional intelligence that comes with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's about to think about what other people are thinking, because everyone comes in with a different perspective. It's not like your opinions. It's not like a math problem. Like 2 + 2 is always 4.
Right.
You can't argue. It's never going to be 3.
Yeah.
But like a lot of other things, like things that are like more abstract. Like there's reasons like. If anything, there might be some valid truth to some reasons, like, but maybe some other reasons like refute that. But that's an opinion and probably a topic for discussion that you can do.
Yeah, and a lot of people's opinions on things are a lot more complex than we make them out to be. You know, I think at first glance, a lot of people tend to be tribal, you know, they tend to be like, oh, you don't do this, or you do this, and therefore they draw quick conclusions, and it's like, well, no, it's like they're a person, and they've had their own experiences, and there's a reason that they think this way, and maybe if you just put your ego aside and listen to what they have to say, then maybe you would learn about why they think that way, and you might still disagree with it, but at least you know where they're coming from.
Yeah, and I feel like if sometimes people think like, oh, you believe in this thing, then you might also believe in X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no, maybe I might believe in X, but I don't believe in Y or Z. Like that's the thing. Like not everyone has the same beliefs just because they share one thing.
Exactly, and it's like, yeah, we don't have to agree on everything. It's important to have these conversations, though. You know, I think it builds peace and trust and maturity.
Yeah.
You know, and those are all good things. So, Jasmeet, is there anything else you would like to say?
I think we talked on a lot of topics.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Jasmeet, thank you for being on the Breed Show.
It's my pleasure.
Appreciate it. You were the second recorded guest, so appreciate it very much. And yeah, I look forward to seeing all your success, and I wish you the best and everything that you do.
Yeah, same with you here. Like you have a pretty bright future as well. Depending on what you're doing, keep this up. It's a good podcast.
Will do. Thank you. Respect.
Yep.